Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on Neeves Knives. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully, all is well. I seen a couple of the topics you guys wrote down in the chat, and I noted them, so we will make sure we get to those here in a moment as more people come in. I did get a question from somebody in my comments section, and I told them if they showed up to the live, I would explain what they asked me in great detail. It was a knife sharpening question. It's difficult to answer some questions in writing, because it's difficult. So I do my best to explain things in great detail when I'm commenting to people, but if they can come to the live and ask me like this, I can explain it in so much better detail to make it make sense. Jeremy Mueller from Milwaukee, not too far from me. Shout out to Milwaukee and shout out to Jeremy. Greetings and salutations, everyone. How you doing, Jeffrey? Okay, so I seen the question about the Hawkbill blade. Now we'll go into a couple more. But hey, Kevin, thank you, man. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it, man. 10 bounce, starting it off hot. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So, Hawkbill blades, friendly Hawkbill blades that are not karambit. So this is one, and it's coming soon. Come on, mouse. So it is not completely out yet, but it's going to be out very, very soon. But it's a really good one. I personally like this thing a lot. I'm trying to find the name really quick so I can tell you guys. So the name is the Best Tech BI. I don't know. BI. I got a video on it that I just did the other day. It is, what you would call an EDC friendly Hawkbill. You have a front flipper or a top flipper. It is actually pretty comfortable on the hand considering how small it is, but it's mostly a pinch grip knife for opening things up. And yeah, it's got a liner lock. I would love to see this in a premium version because I do think it is pretty cool. Good access to the lock bar, nice front flipping action. You do have the hole deployment. It's a little tight, but you can get it. 14C 28M blade steel, good steel. G10. I'm sure it's going to come in different handle materials, hopefully. I think it's a G10 backspacer. Yeah, G10 backspacer. Brass pivot collar. But it looks pretty good, though. O-stop hell design. That would be considered an EDC friendly Hawkbill blade that is a folding one. Now there's a lot of other ones, and maybe we'll go into a couple more. Oh yes, I've seen that video about that blade, and that inspired my question. Oh, nice. Well, I'll come up with some more then, because there's a lot. There's quite a few. So the thing is that more companies would do them, but people tend to shy away from them more that don't know how to sharpen. So the sharpening community, the people that know how to sharpen, don't worry about it. The people that have sharpening systems don't usually worry about it, because if you have a sharpening system, especially if you have a sharpening system that uses slim stones, you definitely don't have nothing to worry about, because that's all it requires to sharpen it is a thinner stone. So you can't just do it on a big bench stone or a 1-inch wide stone. You need 1/2-inch wide stones or round stones. So, but other than that, it's the same thing sharpening. So it's not like it's a big deal, but a lot of people think it's a big deal and think that it'll be impossible for them to sharpen, even though that's anything but the truth. And if they had what I always recommend is a diamond rod and a ceramic rod, you have no problem sharpening it. Mike Emler said that he loves that lots of knives are made in China. Do you agree? Mike Emler said he loves it. I don't know if he said that. Dukes of Hazzard with the 5 bones. What's up, Fagan? Could you recommend my first Tanto blade? First Tanto. So I personally like, and this is an amazing Tanto. So this is the one I would recommend hands down right now. I know I have it sitting around me somewhere, but it's called the Kaiser Mad Tanto. So basically the reason why I'm going to recommend it is because it's not just a regular Tanto. It has a drop point Tanto. So the first primary tip is easy to use. And that's usually the downfall to Tantos, is that the tip is too high to use appropriately. So you always have to use the secondary tip, which is also what's useful about it, that you can use the secondary tip. But In the Mad Tanto's case, you can use the primary tip, the secondary tip, and it's a dual grind. So it's hollow. So when you're slicing like through cardboard, because it's a dual grind, it kind of traps itself into the cardboard. So you can do long extended cuts without it like popping out. So that's the one I would recommend, hands down. The Kaiser Mad Tanto. Awesome, awesome knife. And I got one sitting here somewhere. It might be in my other thing. Sorry, guys. I should have been prepared. Should have been prepared. There's so many knives. So many damn knives. I got it somewhere right here. I don't think you do. Yeah. 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 Oh, Kara took it from me.
This thing is amazing.
I know.
I don't want to give it back.
Well, you gotta give it back.
No, it's too good.
So here you go, Dukes of Hazards, right here.
I love it.
It is a button lock. It is also Damn Designs too. So it is nice and slim, but super duper comfortable. Really good quality micarta, like really, really good quality.
So I used it to push cut through just for fun, not for a reason. I used it to push cut through a Q-tip. Yep. Not the cotton part, just like the condensed cardboard
with
part.
This part?
No, with the main part. It just went like it didn't even, there was like no resistance, which I thought was weird. I feel like most knives, you'd feel a little bit of resistance going through something like that. Like, you know, you'd have to actually kind of push. Yeah. I was just impressed at how easily it just shredded.
Yeah, it's
through.
It's got super thin geometry.
It's got really good geometry in my opinion.
So right here is a hollow grind, and then we have a flat grind up here. But see how I said that the tip drops down, so you can easily do utility cuts, but then you still have a very pronounced secondary tip, and you got the dual grind. You see how it's you got the dual grind, so it traps it into things. So yeah, really, really good. I can't recommend this one enough. And the steel is 154 cm.
See, you never underestimate what knives I have. Because you said, oh, you wouldn't have this.
Your point in that video made a lot of sense, especially that it traps the materials you want to cut. So I realized I need a Hawkbill EDC blade. Yes. So this is what a lot of people don't realize. So when I was in construction, when we did you want to come in here?
Yeah, I'm going to say for a second, not for long.
Okay, just throw those in there. Just to slap them in there. Those are the pouches.
You don't want them back on here.
No, they're just EDC pouches. So, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah.
You used to be in construction.
Yeah, so when I was in construction, when we did carpet cutting, because we did a lot of carpet laying, linoleum, vinyl flooring. So when you cut that stuff, you actually use a Hawkbill blade. So if you look up carpet cutter right now, they're either going to show a utility blade or a Hawkbill blade. Well, the Hawkbill blades you get they're fixed blades, so it's literally a fixed blade that you carry. And most construction workers have one of those blades, and those blades are so good for construction because if I need to take a cut and make a cut 20 feet, right? I don't want to keep making little cuts, and I also don't want my blade popping out. So I can easily use the Hawkbill, claw it in place, and then just start walking. And it'll trap whatever I'm cutting into the blade, and it'll just,
Where's
basically,
I don't know.
Pull it. It'll basically pull it into, that's not a Hawkbill though, that's a Warncliffe. It'll pull it into the blade.
Doesn't it have like a significant recurve or
no? The anteater?
The Kubi.
Oh, the Kubi anteater. I was thinking the fire ant. The Kubi anteater's up here.
I was like, what?
The Kubi anteater's up there. The bottom. Let me just do it. Let me do it.
It's a good example though. They sell budget ones. Like it would be.
We got other Hawkbills.
It would be a good construction worker. And if I'm just thinking like.
So this is the Kubi anteater. Now they don't have. I don't think they have the titanium version anymore, like this one, but they might actually. I don't know. I'm not positive. Don't hold me.
I definitely know they have like a budget.
They definitely have the G10 versions, yeah, and D2 or 14C, one of the two. But it's not the most comfortable because it kind of clogs you in here, right here. So you have to
my hand it is.
Yeah, so my hand's a little bit big for it, but it does still fit. And when I use it, it works really good, especially the pinch grip, because it kind of bends down right there. See how the back spacer is? So your hand can go right over the top. You can pinch grip it into things. So it does work really good. Super solid detent. This has like one of the best detents.
Yeah, it feels like a magnet.
It feels just like a magnet. Yeah.
I remember when I first got it, I know this sounds dumb and like, why wouldn't you think of this? But like, not only was I new into knives, period, I had also never had a Hawkbill. I keep saying Hawkbill, okay? It's Hawkbill to me. Anyway, I went to go use it and I like didn't really think about, like, since the tip is pronounced down so much that you really have to pay attention to what your cutting surface is. And I cut with it. I mean, you shouldn't cut over ceramic anyway, but I cut with it knowing that I could accidentally come through and hit ceramic. So when I did on accident, it completely shaved the top of the tip off and Jared had to fix it.
Okay, so Dano, okay, so when I say this, listen, I don't want to tear what that guy has made or invented or what he does down. So just know that I think that there is a very big purpose for what he's made, which the sharpens best, the carbide sharpener. But see, the thing is that,
can you give a brief explanation of what that is?
I'm about to.
The carbide sharpener.
Yeah, well, it's just a little most people probably know in here. It's a little sharpener. It's like on like a little stick, and he takes the edge and he'll go down the edge with a little piece. It's with a piece of carbide. There's a piece of carbide on this little plastic piece, and then you run it down the edge. Now it's doing the same thing like what a pull through sharpener will do. Basically, it's just like a half a pull sharpener. That's what it is. But see, the thing is, what it's actually doing is, it's not actually sharpening the edge. So let me be clear. It makes the edge sharper, but it's not doing a sharpening. So when you fully sharpen a knife, you're removing steel from the top of the apex, from the top of the bevel down to the apex, right? So here's an edge bevel. You're removing it from the top of the bevel down to the cutting apex, right? When you're using that thing, you're just doing a micro bevel at the very apex. Now, that will work once, right? But if you continue doing that to your edge, it'll make it to where your edge won't last. Like every time you do it, your edge will last less as long as the last time. So if you do it once, it'll last, you'll be able to use it a little bit longer, but then if you do it again, it won't last as much as the last time. And then if you do it again, it'll go dull right away, because it's a bunch of micro bevels on your edge. It's not a real sharpening. Now, the next thing is, even if you lowered back the angle to the top of the bevel down to the apex and you held it perfectly, which is not likely. Let me be clear. It is 100% not likely. But let's say you were a fucking, magical and you could do it. You're still making your scratch pattern go the opposite direction of what you would actually want. So you want your scratch pattern on an edge to be like saw teeth, just like a saw blade. Think about a saw blade, how the teeth go at an angle. So like if this was, a saw blade, it'd be like a bunch of serrations, right? Just like serrations. Serrations run at an angle. They aim at what you're cutting. That's the way you want your scratch pattern of your edge to go too. Your edge is just a microscopic serrated blade. So you want that to run at an angle. Now you can make it run straight up and down or at an angle, because like from the factory, it'll be straight up and down, the scratch pattern. So the teeth of your apex, if you zoomed in microscopically, the teeth would be straight up and down. Now that's fine, or at an angle. But with that thing, they're running sideways. So there is no teeth. You're just knocking off the teeth.
Oh, yeah.
So what you're doing is you're just knocking off a micro bevel across the apex, which, yes, for the moment will make the edge a little bit sharper, but it's going to go dull very quickly. So this is the purpose, right? Like I said, I don't want to destroy what he's done. The purpose of it.
Before you say the purpose, can I just ask, then, because you're taking away the serrations are technically what keep it sharp longer than micro?
No, it's what makes it bite into the materials. So the micro serrations is the first start of the cut. And yeah, it also helps to stay sharp.
Yeah, because if you're knocking them off and then now the knife gets sharp,
well, it'll be easy,
quicker, then
right,
would that be
way quicker
to the serrations?
Right, way quicker, because there's no serrations. You're knocking them all off when you do that, and you're just making a micro bevel.
Even for like real serrated knives, that's why they stay sharp longer.
Right.
Because the sharp part is protected in between the serrations.
With an actual edge, the
I know,
entire thing is
yeah,
going into the material. With a serrated blade, you know, there's hidden parts. Anyway, so what you can use it for, the main purpose and the reason where they will benefit you is when you're out in the field. So if you're a hunter, if you're a fisherman, if you work construction, if you do any type of job where you need your knife sharp, say you're working all day, your edge goes dull, and you know you're going to sharpen it when you get home, but you need it to be sharp for the rest of the day. Like you can't handle having a dull knife. That's when that would come into place, because you're planning on resharpening when you get home. You're not planning on doing that every time the knife goes dull. You're just going to do it just to get the job done, to go and do a real proper sharpening later.
Your mom is here.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Miss you too.
Nargil, thank you for the 5 bones. Hopefully I didn't destroy your last name, which I probably did.
I know how to say it.
Yeah, I read the last name. I'm at my kid's dirt track race, so I'm gonna miss the live. Oh, well, that's good. You're with your kids, though. You know, that's awesome. Just want to say hi and send some loves. Awesome. I used to ride dirt bikes all the time.
I used to want to ride dirt bikes.
Me and Brady.
That's as far as I got with it, because I didn't really live where you could just have a dirt bike.
Mm-hmm. Me and Breeze used to ride.
Yeah.
Daily. He was on a 4-wheeler, I was on a motorcycle, and we would ride. I mean, I rode the 4-wheeler too, but and vice versa.
Human Fiend has a very intelligent question for you.
But I was mostly on motorcycles. Or dirt bikes. Down.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, give me a second. But thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, because I was explaining stuff.
I know, it's okay.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's fine. Man, I'm getting old. Seems logical. Hello, just in case I forgot that I didn't speak. I'm not gonna read. How do you read? Because it wasn't to me. It wasn't to me. So
no, I
know. Dano. I've asked that question a few times. Thank you so much for the insight, and thank you for answering it. You're my favorite knife guy. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You are still talking about my question. Thanks again. Yes, I am. And yeah, no problem. And there was somebody, if you're in here, let me know that you're in here, and I will answer your question that you are asking me in the comments of a video. If somebody was asking me a sharpening question about fixed angle tips and how to do tips. Regardless, I'll explain it still, just in case if they watch this later. But if they're in here, I can explain it directly to them. Hey, Jared, have you seen which one was it? Sorry, I didn't see it.
2 up.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. Cuban Fiend says, question regarding scratch pattern analogy to saw teeth. Western saws are push saws and the teeth point forward. Eastern saws are pull and point backwards. Any preference? So as far as with edge blades go, so the ones that are straight up and down are going to be from a belt, because it's not saying that you can't do a straight up and down scratch pattern on a stone, but it's almost at an angle. Scratch pattern analogy to saw teeth.
An analogy. I think he's talking about real saws.
I know, but but he's saying from the teeth pointing forward and the teeth pointing this way.
As an analogy back to scratch patterns. Right. He wasn't asking what kind of saw do you prefer.
Right. And
if you care what kind of saw I prefer, I would prefer to pull.
So, but the teeth, depending, like with an actual saw, depending on the teeth shape depends on what it's made to cut. So like if it's an all-purpose blade, a metal blade, a wood saw blade, like the teeth are just different. But as far as a blade goes for a knife, when they're straight up and down, the reason why they're straight up and down, it's because a belt did them. The belt runs straight up and down, right? So it runs in a circle and it goes up and down. So when you put the edge to the belt, that's where the teeth are going straight up and down. Well, when you're on a stone or on a fixed angled system, you tend to run the stone at an angle, right? And that's how more people would prefer it over straight up and down, because that's the direction you're cutting. So the teeth are always aiming at what you're cutting. But there's nothing wrong with the teeth going straight up and down, because you still have the teeth in the micro serrations, which are what's important. Okay, so Jared, have you ever seen Spyderco's web foot sharpener? And if so, what do you think? I do not know what that is.
What is that? That sounds intriguing.
I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's that ceramic plate, but I don't know.
Web foot? That's
it looks kind of like a duck foot, I think, but I'm not positive. So I looked at the Kubi Anteater, found one for 35 bones. What would be the best choice for EDC, Hawkbill, or should I keep looking? Well, the Anteater would be a good one. That's one.
I mean, for $35, what kind of steel is the budget one? Is it D2?
another good one. Yeah, it's D2.
Is it?
Or it's
Maybe if you can
Aus10. It
find
might be Aus10. It might be Aus10. But another really good one, the one that I would even recommend even more, to be honest, is Spyderco. The Spyderco Delica has a Hawkbill blade. Let me see if I can find it really quick
Here,
for you.
that's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah,
It does look like a little
it's a ceramic.
paddle
I've
foot.
never had it. Mike Emler has one, I think. But it's cool. It's gonna be good for honing edge maintenance and you know, like after you're done sharpening, you can knock off a burr with it and things like that. Spyderco. Okay, so
Yeah, I think so too. Reptilian
I'm
research.
looking for, let's see, Blade HQ. Okay, so Blade HQ has some, but I'm not
The
seeing.
Ladybug?
Yeah, well, they should have the Delica too, but let me just see. Spyderco. Or
But
I think it's the Delica that has that blade.
FYI, as somebody who used that
Oh, maybe not.
anteater
Maybe it's not
a
the
lot
Delica.
for genuine work every day, it is really good.
Okay, so I'm going to show you this really quick. Now, this is not a Hawkbill, but it's going to work similarly. Not perfectly, but I'm going to show it to you anyways, just because we're on the topic.
You recommend this one more than the anteater? Is that what you're saying?
Technically, yes, I would recommend this.
I'm curious to know why.
I'm going to explain.
A handle ergos or something?
No. So this is so this is VG10 steel, but you can actually get this knife in K390. So I would get the K390 one if you could. That it's probably the best steel on the planet in my opinion. But it's a really good lockback blade. Now, if you don't want lockbacks, I completely understand. However, the actual knife itself is a great functional tool, and that's why I would recommend it. Now, there's a bunch of other knives I can recommend. Like there's even like the click and cut. The click and cut, you can get Hawkbill blades in that, and you just replace the blade. It's from Cold Steel. There's what's some more?
Hey baby.
What?
True or false? A Warncliffe. Here's your question that I'm asking you that I just made up. True or false? A Warncliffe theoretically can do the same work as a Hawkbill, but better because you have more control over the tip, not scratching things because it doesn't stick out from below the edge.
What are you trying to ask? I don't get it.
True or false?
True or false what?
Warncliffes can do the same jobs as Hawkbills, but better because you have more control over the tip, not scratching into unintended things because it doesn't stick below the edge.
Well, that would depend on the Hawkbill and the Warncliffe.
Well, I'm just saying, let me rephrase my question. Because a Warncliffe has a straight edge and no recurve, the tip, though, is still so downward facing that you can control it just like essentially what you would need with a Hawkbill, except for with the Hawkbill, in my experience, I've accidentally scraped the tip on things before because of the fact that it doesn't sit flat with the edge and it comes below. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that statement for that reason?
Not really. I just think you just have to properly know how to use it. I think if you use it appropriately, you're like, obviously, like with certain things, you're not going to use it like a utility cutter, like you can, right, for opening things up and stuff. But if you're going to use it like a utility cutter, you have to know that your tip could go through and hit whatever's on the other side. Same thing with a Warncliffe, though.
I had that issue a few times.
Okay, so the Kershaw launch, this is a great little Hawkbill.
But Warncliffe, I don't feel like I've ever done that because I have control over how low I want the tip to be because that's fully controlled by the angle of my wrist.
The new Provoke, there's actually a drop point version coming. I think they discontinued this one. I'm not sure, but they have a couple in stock right here. Maybe they didn't discontinue it, but they have one for $100. That's more of a karambit style knife. I know you weren't looking for something like that. The MKM, I wouldn't really recommend it. It's a little too compact and small for probably what you're gonna want from that Hawkbill. Let me look at a couple more. So the Matriarch 2 is one that this is a really good self-defense knife. So it's not going to be good for regular. I mean, if you're just cutting ropes and stuff, it'll be great. But the purpose of this is to do damage to a human. So
the anteater, though, is good if you're doing something like the way Jared
it's
was
a good
explaining the ergonomics on the handle, like how it's a little tight for his hand. I personally would like to think that it was kind of designed like that on purpose because you can lock in so tight. And if you're doing something like, what is that circle? I want that.
Okay, so
but if you're doing something like cutting carpet, for instance, like you can just lock in so tight on that handle and get just like superb control. Like that was the reason why I liked working with it. I just wasn't used to having a tip that could hit the ceramic below me.
The Honey Badger is another one that has all different kinds of blade shapes and sizes. So this is actually a really good one. They have D2 or 8CR. So stay away from the 8CR, get the D2, but they have Hawkbills, Tantos, drop points, Spontos. What other blade shapes do they have?
There's like a weird Warren foot.
They basically have every blade shape in a small, medium, and large.
I just don't.
So that's a great knife, and the action's
same
great.
Price as the budget Anteater. I would go budget Anteater. You're not getting FRN.
No, true.
I'm not that was asking.
Yeah, you're gonna get better ergos with this. So, and you can pick the size you want. That's my point.
Probably depends how big your hand is.
You can't pick the size of the Anteater.
If you have a medium hand, then that Anteater is very comfortable.
I can promise you that this will be more useful than the Anteater, but the Anteater is cooler. So let's just put it that way.
I think it's so useful.
All right, so let me get to the chat really quick, and I'm gonna knock this down.
Did you ever even really take that thing out and use it though?
Yeah, I've sharpened it a dozen times.
Use it.
Yes, I've used it many times. I've used it
Like
in
at
videos. I've tested it. Yes, I've used it so many times. Yes.
I carried that thing for a while.
I've used it at work, cutting straps all day, breaking down. Yeah, I've done all kinds of shit with it. Yeah, I've even cut carpet with it. So I looked. Oh, I already read that one.
Yeah, it would.
All right, so
in your hand seems
just so you guys know, I'm backed up on the comments. So what I'm gonna do is
Really?
I'm gonna catch up, and then you guys can. Would you rather cut better pushing or pulling? Basically, pushing. Pushing and pulling your knife should cut really good. So, but I'm not sure what that meant. So blade shape is going to have a big thing and ergos with pulling. So anything with a pull cut, you don't want a huge belly blade, and you don't want an upswept blade because that'll slip when you're pull cutting. You want something that goes downward or faces towards you, more like a Wharncliffe, a Hawkbill, even a drop point, as long as the blade drops down, kind of like the Kubi momentum. Because then when you put it in your hand and you're facing towards yourself, the blade is angled at you, trapping the material in when you're cutting. I talk about this all the time in my video. So listen, I need to catch up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down. If you guys said anything that I missed and you want me to see it, just rewrite it, please. What?
You can't see that.
Hey,
look at his name though. Right when you were talking about Badgers.
The Badger just became a Rockstead. So shout out to you. You get, if you want, this is up to you. You don't have to take this, but if you ever want a one-on-one knife sharpening, help with anything or whatever, or just a BS, just contact me. That is one thing you get when you are a Rockstead.
Neevesknives@gmail.com if you want to set it up, and I'll put it in Jared's calendar.
Right there.
It's typically thought of in the format of a Zoom calls because being on
the Honey Badger is my least favorite knife. Yeah, the Honey Badger, it's a good knife. This is the thing. It's a good knife.
Well, you're the Honey Badger's least favorite human.
I'm not. That? Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
He is.
I know.
Yeah. Fucking Honey Badgers hate him.
I know.
So he's just upset because of that.
I know. It's a
all right.
Opinion.
So but yes, it does have cheap materials. 8CR and FRN, which I don't like either. But the D2, okay, D2's fine, but it's still FRN. Now they do have G10. So, but the problem is you have to buy the G10 separate. So if you want to get G10 scales, you can get it, but it's going to cost you more. So yes, I agree. It winds up becoming kind of bad, but I do like all the variety you have with one knife. Yeah, the Honey Badger don't care. Yeah, you missed us saying Hawkbill. Oh shit!
And telling Kyle that he cannot handle the intensity I bring.
Kind of heard from internet that Honey Badgers don't give a hoot. That's true. Oh damn, that's cool. I just became a member as a thanks for your honest recommendations and for enabling my slightly addicting hobby. You are welcome.
You don't have to use that thing for sharpening.
No, you don't have to. But if you ever want help sharpening or with whatever with knives, we can do a one-on-one. Nobody else will be there. But you also get every other week we do a live sharpening tutorial, and then we also are going to start uploading little skits and stuff, first knife sharpening and things like that to the members, like little tiny like videos. What's your favorite Shielding Knives knife? I got one in particular, but I don't want to say it's my favorite because it's one of their older models and they have a bunch of new ones coming that look really cool. And there's this new one with this Hawkbill blade that I really like. Speaking about Hawkbill blades, it's almost like a Pikal. I really, really like it, and I really want to try a Pikal. So a Pikal is a knife that so it basically is made to be held like the, you know what, actually this is not a Pikal, but you could think of it as a Pikal, like because of the way it works.
That knife, okay. The first time I took that knife out of the sheath, I was not told that it had a backwards edge, and I almost just like ground my thumb into it, thinking it was the spine. Knife scares me.
Hey, just so you guys know, MICROTECH SOCOM's Elites are in stock right now. I have it linked down in the description. Right now, GP Knives is at the top. Right underneath scent of the day's scent that you'll see MICROTECH SOCOM Elite. Just click on that link. Now they are the serrated versions, but as far as I know, I don't see any plain edge versions coming. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. But Blade HQ has some serrated blades coming too. But the thing is these MICROTECH SOCOM Elites sell out usually immediately. Now the ones that are available are serrated from here to here. And then this is a plain edge. So one thing that's cool about that is this part of the edge is going to be great for general use. But the serrated part is going to be good because this is a tactical knife, right? This is a hard use tactical knife. This is made for prying, stabbing, prodding, cutting, and having the serrations might not be a bad idea on a knife like this because it's full serrations and it's MICROTECH. So if it ever goes dull, send it in. They'll resharpen it for you and they'll do a brand new serrated edge on there. So it's pretty cool. And they did raise the price a little bit on them that I seen, but Edgy American says, Kara, I love you, but the honey badger. Bleh. Listen.
I have never felt such a exquisite level of stamped FRN in my life. Okay. You have to have very refined tastes to understand just how, extreme of a love you have to have for this honey badger. I mean, only really elite people understand is the thing.
Okay, so
I just don't, I don't expect you to get it. It's fine, Shane. I love you too.
Yeah. What's your opinion on Gerber? So I don't want to bash them, but I don't like Gerber that much. They're not really making anything that's worth a damn, and the things that they are, like that they do a good design on, they usually don't execute them well. I'm sure there's a couple good Gerbers out there somewhere, and I've heard there's a couple good fixed blades, and I've heard that there's like one or two good multi-tools. But as far as pocket knives go, I have never seen it good Gerber. Like every single one has had issues, problems, fit and finish problems. I've had blades snap. I've had it's always just as a problem with them. They're very poorly done. Whoever they're using as their OEM across seas is bad. Like they're not great knife makers, or they just don't pay them well enough for their knives, and then they charge an amount that you should be getting a good knife for. So it just doesn't make sense because I understand it's a USA company making knives overseas, so it's going to cost a little bit more. I get that. But there's other USA companies making knives overseas that are great quality for less money than the Gerbers. So it just, it just doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not saying that they're expensive because a lot of Gerbers are cheap, but their quality is also really cheap. I just don't recommend them. I would recommend something that's better, not saying more money, but just better quality. I had a question about ruby. Skip it if it's boring, but I was wondering some sharpening thoughts on it as a material in general. Okay, so the ruby stones, I don't mind the ruby stones. So they're 3,000 grit. Now they're not. I don't know how good they're going to be on high wear resistant steels. You would think rubies would be able to cut carbides, but I don't know because I don't know the hardness levels in between. However, I've used it quite a bit as a finishing stone, and that's where you're gonna use it. So since you're using it as a finishing stone anyways, it really doesn't matter because you've already done all your sharpening, you've created your edge bevel, you've already ran through your stones, you're past 2000 grit, and now you go to a ruby stone as a finishing stone. It doesn't give you quite a mirror polish, but it's like it's somewhat like a cloudy mirror, but it's a really, really good edge. But yeah, it's good, and they're very cheap. Like you can get big stones for like $50 or the little ones for like $5-6.
You have a couple super chats, and then also one that you can't see that I need to read.
Okay. Let me get to them. Beard of Doom, the doom of all beards. Thank you for the 10 bounce. Thanks for the sharpening lesson, man. Working on the TS Prof made several smiles and sharpened a thumb stud, but I'm getting there. Hey, it takes some practice, but you'll get it, man. You'll get it.
That's funny.
I've done it too, man. Trust me, I've done it. I've done it. There's nothing that you guys can't say that you guys have done messing something up that I haven't done. So like I'll never laugh, I'll never make fun. Like I've done it in a lot too. It's not like I've just done it once and then learned my lesson. I
remember the early days where I would hear fuck shit. So yes, I can confirm.
But yeah, it's the TS Prof is a great system. Now I do want to get to the tip question here right after I get to the super chat.
There's one in between that you can't see.
Okay, well, let me get to this one real quick.
Okay.
Indeed. Thank you for the 10 bones. What's a good knife currently available in MagnaCut except the Deca, which has a crappy handle? Oh, the
He doesn't like that.
I see. You're talking about the Deca has a crappy handle. So there is the Mordax. I don't know how easy they are to get. The ProTech Mordax in MagnaCut, if it'll show up. You also have anything from Spyderco. Spyderco does I think they have their Salt series coming with MagnaCut, but they're really good. What else? Chris Reeves has but you know, these are expensive knives, but that's what it's gonna cost, you know, especially if you want to get proper stuff. There's a bunch of companies using MagnaCut. You just got to find the ones that are doing a good job heat treating it. But I would say you could go with the Deca and just get the original goat scales. That will massively improve that knife. I absolutely love the Deca. It's like $138. Then with the scales, like $60. So you're going to be like $190
which is much less than what the other knives.
But it'll be a great knife, though. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Now, there's a bunch of other ones. Okay, here's another one for you that's coming soon, right? Coming soon. But you're probably not going to be able to get one really quick. But the Tactile Maverick is going to come with good quality, supposedly. I haven't tested it, but I'm going to be testing it soon. But good MagnaCut. Go ahead.
Okay. Dang it. James K, member of the Benchmade for 6 months. The good Gerber is like grainy Bigfoot footage, which is a hilarious analogy.
That's hilarious. Hey, Jared, really looking forward to the results of your testing of the Terrain 365. I know I am too, and I'm sorry I'm late on it. You know, I had a bunch of issues, and now I'm playing catch up right now. So I will be testing it very, very soon.
American Blade Works.
What are the ghost scale? Okay, so sorry, baby.
American Blade Works is going exclusive MagnaCut starting at $200.
There you go. There you go. American Blade Works. Now, I think that he does really good work. It's USA made. Supposedly, he does some MagnaCut really good. I haven't tested it. My knife is S35VN, but maybe I'll look into getting one of his MagnaCut blades and testing it. So it's goat scales, original goat. If you look down in my description, scroll down until you see original goat. Click on that link. There's a discount code with a link, and there's tons of different scales from Hogue Deca scales, Spyderco scales, cold steel scales. Like, just go down there and check them out. They make aluminum scales, titanium, and then they have other materials too. But really good work. All USA made. Everything's 100% USA made, and they do amazing work. Like, I can't tell you, every single set of scales I've got from them, every single one has fit so perfectly. Like, no play, no rock, no wiggle, no nothing. Just slap them on, no fighting them. And Like even my Hogue, man, my Hogue is so solid and it's so smooth. Like you'd grab it and you would think this is an access lock. It's going to have play in some direction. Not at all. And that's the way it is with every scale I've gotten from them. So, and I haven't heard anybody complain yet. And anybody who has, they've replaced their scales if they had any issues. Luck Knives says, I'll have some of my MagnaCut Squalls finished up soon. Heat treated by transparent knives at 64 HRC. There you go. Yeah, I recommend anything that comes from Brian. I've tested some of his MagnaCut and it's some of the best I've tested. Jared, sorry guys. Jared, can you please use your influence to make them ship their scales to the EU, please? I don't know where they ship and if they do or don't ship. They obviously don't because you're saying they don't. But yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. What I would say is there are companies that do ship and just try to go to them. You know, I know like it's nice to buy from the US, but since you're not from the US, you probably don't care as much. But man, there's a Flytanium, there's you might be able to get Carbide to work with you. He's a guy in the community that makes scales. RC Blade Works, Rip's Garage. Go ahead, baby. What's up? What were you gonna say?
Shane's asking if you want to borrow his
what?
American Blade Works. It's 6.8.
No,
6.8 HRC. What the fuck does that mean? Does he mean 68?
say that again.
6.8 HRC? 68?
Maybe saying 60.8. I don't know.
What does that mean,
I don't know.
Shane?
It shouldn't be that low though.
6.8? Hopefully not.
Well, anyways, yeah, maybe you can
yeah, just tell me what you mean. What was your answer to him? No? You said you don't need it?
No, because when I test it, man, I wind up sharpening multiple times. Like nobody wants to send me a knife and have me sharpen it. Like people that have requested me to test stuff, it's because they wanted me to test it, right? They understood like I'm going to sharpen this 3, 4, 5 times. I could possibly break the blade. You might not get it back, like things like that. So I don't want to put that on somebody's knife like that. Like unless if they reached out to me and specifically said, hey, I want to send this to you. I want you to test it. If it survives, you can send it back. If not, then whatever.
63.8.
63.8 that's a good HRC.
That's
so
perfect.
that sounds amazing. But still though, you know, the heat treat's got to be done well too, because like we've seen tests. So if the HRC is not end all be all, remember that. That's one thing. That's one thing to consider, right? If the heat treat's done well, then you can look at the HRC, and if the HRC is done well, then you can get great results from a steel. Now, if the heat treat's poor, but the HRC is on point, it's going to be bad. If the heat treat's good and the HRC is off point, it's not going to be good. Like, well, depending on what your purpose is, right? Like, obviously, you know, just depends on what you want. But we've seen in the past where not certain steels have tested at an optimal range, like a really good range, and have done very, very poorly because of the heat treat, whatever they did. Cue ball with the 5 bones. Hey, bang gang. Still recovering from surgery and unable to use my right arm. So hang back in the chat tonight. Can't wait to get back to normal. Cue ball, I hope you rest well and heal up fast.
Unfortunate situation for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, and recover quick.
Get back to normal.
Yep.
We'll play some games or something.
Yeah, shout out to Cue Ball.
I know he said he can't even play a video game right now. Like it's that bad. Like he can't do anything.
Yeah, I know how it feels.
I know how it felt just have a broken arm and like still being able to use my arm, but not having control of my thumb. Like that was incredibly irritating. So I can't imagine.
All right, so I'm gonna while I'm caught up to the chat, I'm gonna explain this thing. So somebody asked, and if they do show up late and they ask again, I will repeat it. But somebody asks what, because they're getting, and you guys probably have the same issue, so listen up. A lot of you guys probably have this exact 100% same problem, because everybody does that uses a fixed angled system when they sharpen. Your tips. Why are you fucking up your tips? Why are your tips always rounded, chipped, messed up, not finished? What's the deal with the tips when you're freehand sharpening? Why are they so difficult? So 2 things. 1, don't ever ever, 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 under any circumstances, let your stone go past, let the tip of the blade go past the center of the stone. So let's say this is a knife I'm sharpening, right? Let's say this is a knife I'm sharpening. Let me go like this. And I have my stone right here, fixed angled, right? Fixed angled system. The center of this stone, right down the center line of it, don't let the tip go past that point. You got to stop. So like when I'm sharpening, I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to go past like that. And I'm also not going to go past this way. I'm going to stop as soon as I touch that tip. Like I'm not even going to let, like if you see it from this way, I'm not even going to let the stone go past the center, or let the tip go past the center of the stone. Always stop there. If you go over here, what's going to happen is the stone will roll over like that, and it'll chip it off, and it'll take you, every time you do that, will take you 20 minutes to get it out. So if you do it twice, you're going to be on there for a fucking hour trying to fix that. So you most likely won't fix it. You most likely will just give up, and your tip will be rounded, chipped, or whatever. So always stop your stone at the tip. Always. Now, what's going to happen is it'll look like you're not hitting it, because the grip pattern will be working its way all the way across, and you'll have like a little spot that doesn't look like it's getting hit. Don't worry, it will get hit. Just continue working on it. Don't go past. Don't worry about it too much. Just continue working at it. The grit will eventually get itself up there. Now, the next thing is that when you're sharpening, your tip in many cases is thicker than the rest of the edge. Not always, but in many cases. So this part of the edge will be thinner than the tip. So the tip requires a little bit more work than maybe the rest of the edge. Not all, but in many cases it does. So you have to just sharpen it until the tip is done. So continue sharpening the whole edge until the tip is even with the rest of the edge. Now, the tip might have a bigger bevel because thicker areas are always bigger. So if like, let's say this is 20 thousandths behind the edge, and let's say the tip is thicker at 25 thousandths. Well, the edge bevel is going to go from thin to thick at the tip. It's going to be a nice big bevel at the tip, and it's going to be slim down here. But that's just the way the grind is. Don't worry about that. Don't focus too much on that. Just focus on getting the edge bevel set. Even if it does fluctuate a little bit from thinner to thicker, that's just the grind. There's nothing you can do about that, unless if you freehand, there's nothing you can do about that. So it's just normal. But anyways, I hope that helps. Yes.
Welcome to the Benchmade's Beard of Doom.
Beard of Doom. Welcome to the Benchmade's. Hell yeah. Very, very cool.
Also, baby, don't ever say tip that many times in such a short period ever again. You're causing the chat to become juvenile, and it's making me laugh.
You've dropped a knife, and the very tip, 1 to 2 millimeters of sharpening tip, breaks off. Best way to reprofile that without having to grind 1 to 2 millimeters off the entire edge from the spine. So,
are you asking for a friend or something?
So, like, I've had to fix plenty, and you can watch my videos on this. Joe Jimbo's, that the tip breaks off. So what I do is I always sharpen this part. Or not sharpen it, but I remove the steel from over here. So I will grind off the steel here, because then the edge is still, I literally sharpened one.
How do you get it to look finished again? Back there.
It's on the belt.
Oh.
I do it with a belt. It's really easy. Just watch my video on it. Reprofiling broken tips on Spydercos, or reprofiling broken tips on any knife. So what you do is you grind this down with the belt, and then when it's finished and your tip is nice and pokey again, then you resharpen it. Then it's literally still has a brand new fresh edge. Because otherwise, you're going to remove like 15 sharpenings of steel off of the edge. And rather than do that, take it from the spine. Now your edge is still brand new. So it looks the same. Like you can't even tell. It'll look brand new still. So don't think that, oh, my knife's going to look modified. It's going to look bad. It's going to look the exact same. Literally go watch my videos and you'll see me do, I think I've done different knives, but I've done a couple, jumbos, and you can see they look identical when they're done. Damn near. You can blend it into pretty good to the satin finish. 300 grit belt will blend into most satin finishes. You can help it blend in. What's up?
Nothing.
What are you laughing about?
I'm just laughing. Everybody's being real funny. That's what I just laughed at. How'd you know? I like being called Mrs. Knives. That's funny because you're like Neeves Knives.
I learned to sharpen as a kid from the never-ending train of male friends that my aunt had coming over.
What? Why?
Sorry to hear that. I learned to sharpen as a kid too for very different reasons. My dad would teach me how to sharpen, and he'd have a little aluminum oxide stone, or we had a bunch of different knife sharpeners. We actually had a landscape back in the day too. But anyways, we had a bunch of different sharpeners, and he would take the stone and he'd tell me I had to spit on it. Like that's how you oil it. You spit on it. So I thought that's how you oiled stones. You just spin on it, rub it back and forth, and you go. But that's what you do out in the field. You don't necessarily do that at home. But that's when I first started sharpening, and not that I was any good at it or anything, but I started when I was a kid, at least trying. But I remember like literally wondering, like, why does my knife always feel way duller when I'm done? Why is it never sharper? But you know, it's just not understanding how it goes or how it works. I could buy a nice looking clip point Deca for 85 on eBay with the chip tip. Just needs reprofile. I can't do that stuff, but who could do it for me? You could talk to Kyle Coonley in the chat. But check and see how much the tip is chipped, because there is a point of which it might not be worth the money, and it might just be better to my point, right? This is my point.
No
So
pun intended.
say if it's $85,
Point.
right? Say if it's
Got 'em.
$85. Well, say if you sent it to me, I'm going to charge you like probably like 40 bucks to fix that. So you're at like 120 bucks, but if you spent 12 more dollars, 15 more dollars on top of that, you could just bought a brand new one.
To be clear, though,
You know what I mean?
he's
So
not going to charge you 40 because his books are closed.
right. And I might charge you 50. That's the point. I'm saying, like, you know, like you got to look at the, you know, the price versus reward.
That doesn't. How much? Yeah.
Well, because it's a
Yeah.
broken tip, so I'd have to
And
grind
how
down the
much were
spine.
the new Decas?
The
Would you say
edge would be
120?
what?
How much are the new Decas?
Like 138 bucks, 140,
Yeah, I'd
140
rather
bucks. So,
Yeah.
you know, 60 bucks more you can get, or 55, 60 bucks, you can get a brand new one.
What on earth is that super
I mean,
chat?
but if the tip is not that bad, like if it's very, very minor, right, and the person that's going to sharpen it's not going to charge you more than a regular sharpening, then it might be worth it for you.
I'm thoroughly confused by this.
AJ with the 2 bones at Seductive Pain 21. What'd you say? Thank you for the
Thoroughly
donation.
Confused by that.
You're thoroughly confused by
Yeah.
that?
I don't know what that means.
Hey Jared, what's your opinion on the best sharpening grits start to finish on 80 CR2 steel? So I haven't done a ton. I have only like one knife in 80 CR2, so I can't speak on it too much. I think it likes a toothy edge more than anything, but I don't know that for sure. I know it's a super tough steel, so in many cases, a lot of tough steels do good with thin geometry, but not always. And I don't know enough about it to really speak on it from an experience standpoint. But I would imagine a 600 grit finish is probably pretty good on it. That's usually good for most steels, that especially if you're not sure. 600 grit is great. But depending on the grind would depend on the angle I would put. But you'd want to start at a 150 to 300 grit. So your first stone should be between 150 and 300 grit, and then your next stone should be like a 400 grit, and then your finishing stone should be 600 to 1200 grit. I wouldn't go over 1200 grit with a steel like that. Maybe it does good with a fine edge. I just don't know. And you know, you'd have to experience that yourself.
Oh, you missed another chat.
Jerry Thompson.
No, not that one. I guess there was another.
With the 5 bones. Thank you, bud. I appreciate the 5 bones. I have the TS Prof. Do you use soap and water with those composite stones? What do you mean composite? You talking about resin bonded stones? So with my TS Prof, I have diamond plates, which are just metal plates with diamonds on the surface. I use them dry. You can use soap and water on them. They'll probably last longer if you do that. I run them dry. Then I use my resin bonded diamond stones, which are Neeves, the resin bonded diamond stones. They look like regular stones. They're colorful. One's red, one's yellow, one's green. But those I use soap and water on. Now, as far as natural stones go, that's going to depend whether you use water or soap and water or oil.
You missed that one, which now makes the other one make so much more sense.
Oh, AJ with the 5 bones. Thank you. Hey, Jared, recently started an EDC knife content profile. If anyone has an account or any tips, let me know.
And that's
at Seductive Pain
Yeah,
21.
That makes sense.
Good now. Thank you, man. That's hilarious.
I
Yeah,
like
thank
the
you,
name.
Jerry Thompson. I appreciate the 5 bones. Hopefully that explains it. But yeah, with the Neeves stones, yes, I use soapy water mixed in a bottle because it helps keep the steel particles from clogging the stone. You're still going to want a conditioning stone and eventually a flattening plate and silicon carbide powder to flatten the stone. But you can get by for a while with an aluminum oxide stone and just condition it. So like in between sharpenings, you just take the stone. You can buy a $10 cheap aluminum oxide stone off the internet, or you can actually buy like a Nagura or something, you know. But just something from aluminum oxide, and then you can scrub the stone, scrub the surface, and flatten it back out. Get all the particles out from clogging the stone, refreshing it, and what it does, it makes the diamonds come popping out of the surface. Because as you sharpen, you knock the diamonds down, and then the resin and the diamonds are at the same level. So what you want to do is then you want to recondition it with an aluminum oxide stone, which will knock down the resin and make the diamonds come out. And that's why you want it to be aluminum oxide, because you don't want to cut the diamonds, right? Which aluminum oxide is so much softer than diamonds that the diamonds won't be phased. Jared, check the $5 check. Okay, yes, I did.
Somebody
I did.
Was asking if you would ever design a knife or something like that, and Q1 Fiend was like, he'd probably say something close to resembling a Mannix.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
He said that somebody was asking if you would ever design a knife and what it would look like or whatever, and Q1 Fiend was like, it would probably be something close to resembling a Mannix.
No, I don't think so. So
I was gonna say what it would resemble, but then I didn't want to. I didn't know if you'd want me
No,
to
don't
give
say
away
it.
your secret sauce.
Don't give away my sauce.
I'm not. Don't say it like
Don't
that.
give away the sauce or the recipe.
Not gonna do that.
So Barkeeper's Friend
I love
and soft
Barkeeper's
bristle
Friend.
blush is good for normal maintenance between flattening too. Yeah, Barkeeper's Friend is great for cleaning the stone, but you still need a conditioning stone. The conditioning stone is going to be at your bench. That doesn't mean you don't take it to your sink and clean it with Barkeeper's Friend. That's smart too. And then you also have to flatten it eventually. So you have to do all 3.
Are you talking about the powdered version of it?
Yeah. Barkeeper's Friend powder.
The liquid version
it's like
of
Comet
it is
or
like
whatever.
Insanely powerful.
Daniel Cad, there he is. Thank you for the 5 bones.
I just like 3
Good
seconds
evening
ago
to
was
you,
like,
sir.
where is he?
Stasa 23's in the house. What's up, Stasa? Shout out to Stasa 23. Definitely go and subscribe to his channel.
Daniel, you haven't even been here for 3 seconds, and you're already gifting 5 memberships. We need to block this man. Somebody just remove him. I know, because you can't.
Jared, what's
Thank you, Daniel.
Oh, what's the significance of the 7 knives displayed behind me? Well, normally they're all US.
7 wonders of the world.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. So, got me. They're normally all USA made knives, but I will admit right now we do have 1 Russian made and 1 Chinese made up there. Then the rest are USA made, but they're normally all USA made knives. But the plaque was made by a good friend that lives in Colorado that makes custom hand made shelves and things like that. He also made me the Neeves Knives plaque up there that you guys can't hardly see, but this is just a knife shelf, and it's got pegs, and I have 7 knives just sitting on it for display.
And then, if you can't tell, that little
but they're special knives though.
That little sign says "My lovely wife Carrie." He got that for
me.
It's
not the bowl.
But I know. But he pointed out, he was like, that sign makes it look like. Damn, this is.
She put it there. I didn't put it there.
He's like, it makes it look like that, like that like I killed you, and this is like your head up here. Oh, my toe.
You okay, baby?
Somehow I always managed to get it right under the wheel of your chair.
Definitely go and subscribe to Stasa 23's channel. Sit down.
I'm trying to bend my toe because it hurts.
Okay, baby.
No, you're yelling at me.
No, I'm telling you, sit down.
You're
Put your feet
in
up.
a yelly
Put your feet up.
voice.
Put your feet up. There you go. All right. Let's see here. You said there was donations or something?
Daniel Cad just 5 seconds in with the 5 memberships.
Thank you for
1 membership for every second you were in the chat before doing it.
That's quick, man. Jared, and thank you. Daniel, I appreciate it
and
so
the
much. I
$5
appreciate
super
all
chat.
the damn support, man. This guy has supported so
There's a
much.
super chat as well, sweetheart.
And I thought about possibly with people, and listen, I'm easy to get a hold of, guys. I'm very easy to get a hold of for the most part. Like, there's obviously going to be people that slip through the cracks, right? There's going to be, but for the most part, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. And I sometimes I feel like, man, I should like reach out to these people that that donate so much, and just to shoot the shit and chit chat and see what's up, like, and I heard a guy the other day. He was on his own channel and somebody donated a bunch of money, and the guy told the guy, hey man, contact me on DMs or whatever, on Instagram, so we so I can thank you or talk to you or whatever. And but just so you guys know, you guys can always reach out to me. I'm always happy to what's wrong?
Nothing. I'm just plugging this in. My phone's gonna die and I can't see the computer from here.
Couldn't you have plugged it in right here?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't want it to be like bloop, the phone's plugged
just take
in.
this out.
Watch what's gonna happen though.
Why? It's fine. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, you guys can always get in contact with me. I'm always happy to talk to you guys. Why?
You just might. Because you don't know what's gonna happen if I do this.
Jared, I saw your video on the Max Ace Beetle today. Looks awesome. And given the materials, I think the price is great. Is the quality on par? Yes. Max Ace does an incredible job. I thought I had one sitting here. Yeah, I have. Well, this isn't the Beetle, but it's the Max Ace Black Mirror.
I love the Beetle though.
Man, the Beetle, it's all of the Max Ace knives are very, very well done. So the Beetle, though, it is one of the best slip joints. That's like a modern slip joint that's not a traditional, right?
Okay.
Like obviously, like the Jack Wolf knives would be like the best modern traditionals, but as far as modern slip joints go, that's badass. Not only is it super ergonomic and really good, like geometry and like just a mega cutter, the finish, everything is just well done on it. Yes.
Okay, I just want to get this all in order really quick.
Yes. Go ahead. No, in order.
In order. Okay, so we had a $5 super chat from the CAD Master saying, Jared and Kara, good evening. Good evening. Then we had 5 donated memberships from Daniel CAD. Then I said I was going to block him. So he said with a $5 super chat, you most certainly can try to block me. It's not going to work very well. This is what happens when you try. Followed with 20 gifted memberships.
What?
And
dude, that is so much money.
I think that is the end of the escapades of
I don't even know who these things are going to.
They're going to a lot of, I can see in the chat. I don't typically read them all, but
Daniel, you are the man. Thank you so much, and thank you for the 5 bones. Thank you for the 20 new members. If you guys see a thing next to your name and just realize what is this little thing next to my name, you are now a member, which means that you get live sharpenings, and we will be posting.
It does alert them when they log into their thing if they're not here. Like, so when they come back, because it just gives them to subscribers.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure our whole chat is members, so it has to like go to our subscribers.
Yeah, it almost. Well, Jason 69's not.
Well,
so
sorry, Jason.
Sorry, Jason. But no, you'll probably get one soon. Anyways, thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, we do live sharpenings twice a month for the Bang Gang members, and then also, like I was saying, we are going to be uploading small short videos, sharpening videos and stuff like that. Maybe I'll release them early for the members and then just eventually let them go to everybody. But what I'll do is I do giveaways too. So if you're a member, show up to the members' lives. We do live giveaways right there to the members. Yes.
Kyle was like, after 6 months of memberships, you get snuggies from Jared as well. And then Piper donated $2. Hit me the bell. Thank you for the 2 bones.
Well, let me get to it so I can pull it up, because I'm on this chat.
Get to it then.
What do you think about the Ephraim knife? The Ephraim knives are shit. I do not like them. So the reason why is because for 3 or more years they lied about their steel. So they would say it was D2, but it was 8CR. They would just lie about their steels. And I fell into the trap. I actually bought 2 knives from them. I did not know that they were actual clones, right? I thought they were just regular knives. I didn't know enough at the time. Bought them, and then not only were they clones, so now I was embarrassed to even show them around without people like saying like, oh, that's just a copy of this.
Those old ones we have.
Then the steel wasn't even the fucking steel they said it was. It was the wrong steel. And they did this for a long, long time, even after being caught, even after it coming out, even after everybody knew, even after testing proved their steels were garbage, then finally they switched it. So now, yes, now their steel is probably normal. Everything you find on the internet, I don't know what's bad and what's good, like meaning like if all the bad stuff is already sold now, because they didn't take it off the market. They didn't say, oh, all these knives are bad, let's take them off the market and replace them with good ones. No, they finished selling all the shit ones and then now have replaced them with good ones. So no, I don't fucking trust them. I don't like them. I don't trust them, and I would never recommend them.
Who knows if like bullshit doesn't sneak through the cracks anyway?
And when will they? What if they wind up switching it again? Right?
And then if they were willing to lie about a steel, then they're probably also willing to like heat treat like shit and
a lot of different things, right? A lot of different things.
If they were willing to outright lie, then what else are they willing to do? You're not getting a good product. I don't care how cheap it is. Go buy a Ganzo. Go buy something like that if you want that caliber of knife.
Right. Sativian. And then also another one that kind of sounds like Ethan Grow is San Remnu. San Remnu does a good job. Billy Spar. Jared, have you seen anything from Montana Knife Company? I picked up the mini Speed Goat.
That's such a cute name.
And it's a sweet carry for a fixed blade. I have not.
I just picture a little goat going because I did.
Cramp. I do not know what that company is or anything about them, but I am definitely interested. I like the sound of it.
You have another. Did you ever get to that super chat?
And congratulations to everybody who got the memberships. I'm trying to find them right now. I'm trying to catch up. So Piper, 2 bones. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the 2 bones.
There's another one as well.
I'm trying to find the. Oh, there we go. Daniel Cad with another 5 bone skis. We have 200 people in here and only 100 likes. Damn, guys, you guys are holding back on us. It does not cost you anything to smash the damn like button. It definitely does support the channel. It 100% supports the channel. It's very important for us to grow and for YouTube to suggest it. If we have a video and if it doesn't get likes, YouTube is not going to suggest it because it doesn't get enough feedback and it just doesn't, it doesn't fire off in their algorithm to say it's a good video. So please hit the like button. I appreciate it. Yes.
I noticed in that super chat, he said, we have 200 people. I noticed when I was a kid, like I have a lot of family down south, and when they like a football team, you'll hear them talk about it. You've probably heard this in your family before where they're like, yeah, we won the game last week. And they talk like they're on the damn team, like they're a coach or something.
Yeah.
That's when you know true loyalty and fanship to something. I don't think fanship's a word, but I just made it a word. But
Daniel Cad's a true one. He's a real one.
He's saying because he's like, this is my stream too.
He's a real one.
That says something. That's what's up. I always notice like super fans of something or really loyal people will say that. Like they'll be like, we won the game last week.
Talking in a group.
We really need to work on this and that.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're in a bar fight, you're like, we'll kick your ass.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about you and all your friends.
Yeah.
Right?
I just noticed
James K. Even Grow and Gerber have not apologized, nor
I don't
will
think they apologize. They just said
they have not. Lying. That's what he said, but they have not.
Yeah.
They have not
I thought he was saying like that you like
No, they have not. Never mind. Did I hear cram out of Jared? Yeah. Cram.
That's our favorite video. You have a thing you can't see.
Dave Goodridge with the 5 bones. Jared, with all the stuff you went through, were you ever tempted to give up? Many, many times. I don't know what you mean by give up. You mean like give up? Because no, I've never been tempted to give up like that. No, I've always been very strong-minded when it comes to that. And if that's what you're talking about, but yeah, in other ways, but giving up in a different type of way, I guess. And in many cases, you could say I did in some instances. But no, it does take a lot of struggle and a lot of fight and a lot of tenacity to turn things around, but you can do it and anybody can do it. You have to have that fire underneath you to make you want, and you got to see something, right? You got to see the other side.
The light at the end of
and it's difficult to see sometimes for some people, but if you can visualize yourself in a good place, as long as you do these things, then you just got to start knocking those things out, because it's very easy for us to think about. And I say this a lot to certain people, like, especially like with like addiction and things like that. Try to talk to yourself, your future self. what would yourself in 10 years tell you? Like, think about yourself in 10 years talking to you right now. What would they tell you? What would that person, the you from 10 years, tell you to do? Right? What would be the most important things that you need to do right now? Right? And I guarantee everybody can think of that. Everybody knows what those things are. What would they tell you to stop doing? And what would they tell you to start doing? And those are the things you need to stop and start doing,
I'll tell
because
you one thing, though.
yourself is telling you to do it.
Though that stuff is all really nice, like thinking like that and having those thoughts and all that stuff. But anyone that's been through an addiction can tell you that like those things they're a good thing to get your mind in a positive place, but they're not the thing that'll get you through. At the end of the day, the thing that'll get you through is just effing doing it. Like there's nothing else but besides ignoring all the negative thoughts and just saying, okay, I'm just going to do it, at least at the beginning, right? You just kind of have to push through, you know what I mean? But I don't think there's one person that's been through an addiction that can say that they haven't given up to the road somewhere along the way to the road of victory. It's just impossible. Most people in some form have relapsed or, you know, gotten clean and then said, I'm just going to do this thing one time or something. That's all forms of giving up. And it's absolutely true for anyone that's been an addict. Can I read this thing that you can't see, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Rob's Nerdy Knives, member of the Benchmates for 1 month. Thoughts of the EMP EDC relative or Kunwu Pulsar? That's two very different knives, isn't it?
Say that again.
If I'm thinking of the right ones, EMP EDC relative or Kunwu, sorry, Pulsar. Thoughts on them?
The Pulsar and the what?
EMP EDC relative.
I love the relative. I think it's an amazing knife. The Pulsar I have not tried. So we had 407 members after the last live. I'm sorry, I'll get right back to that. Somebody else was asking about what happened last week with the members. 444 is what we have right now.
We're up
444 members right now. That's incredible. So back to this. The Pulsar I have not tried. They were supposed.
Pulsar?
What's it called?
The Pulsar is a highly magnetic star out in the universe.
What's the knife called?
No, I don't remember. It might be the Pulsar.
I thought it was the Kunwu Pulsar, right?
Is it? I can't find the chat.
That knife is.
It is the Pulsar. That's such a badass name.
That knife, you read it.
I know, but it didn't dawn on me.
That knife, it was supposed to be sent to me. I don't know what happened. I don't know anything. So if it gets here, I'll test it and I'll tell you my feedback. But as of right now, I haven't tested it, so I can't tell you. I can tell you that Kunwu does a really good job, and everything I've tested from them has been really good.
I wonder why they named it that.
As far as what was the other knife?
The EMP EDC.
The EMP EDC relative, really, really good. They do a really good job. Their knives are they're phenomenal. Self delete, that's what you meant? Yeah, no, I've never had that personally. Now, and listen, I have a very, very tough mindset. So first of all, you guys can understand, I think about it from a religious standpoint, and I always thought, and I'm not saying that this is true or not, I don't know what's true or not, but I always had it in my mind that you can't do that. If you did that, then you would go to hell, right? I'm not saying that's true or not. I'm just saying that's what I was taught from my religion growing up. So like that was never, and even if I didn't think that, I never would think to do that. That's just not in my mind to do that. I'm a fighter, like in every way, shape, or form. Like I fight for things that I probably shouldn't. And that's just the way I am. I'm very, very stubborn. So because of that, it's very difficult to knock me down and make me want to self-delete. I'd rather just keep fighting, even if I lose. Like I don't mind a good fight. And I know some people are very, very depressed to a point to where they don't feel like there's anything left. But to me, I think that the reason why is because they don't have a fight in many cases, not always. Maybe they feel like they're fighting the world, but really they need to fight something else. They need to fight something in front of them. And I mean, literally, whether that means going and getting your ass kicked in the gym, fighting some weights in the gym, maybe fighting your endurance by running, doing things that literally physically deplete you, because it's difficult for you to get in that mindset when you're battling things like that. And when you're done with things like that, man, you're on top of the world. When you actually accomplish goals like that, man, it really builds you up. Daniel Cat says we'll be buying a few knives for a giveaway for the channel and also a ticket to Blade Show Atlanta. Stay tuned, everyone. Well, I hope I see you at Blade Show. I hope I run into a lot of people there, man. I know a lot of people wind up going to Atlanta. Seemed logical. Just went to the custom knife show. So did Ray. Everyday City Carry, his first blade show. It was the custom knife show in New York. So it's not the Atlanta one that we're going to be going to. I hope Ray is able to go to that one, the Atlanta one. That'd be awesome. Same thing with Ryan. I think they are going though, right? Ryan, you know.
And
is Daniel Cad going? Hopefully Daniel Cad's going. Jared back with the facts. Sometimes you need to fight yourself like in Mortal Kombat. The hardest fight is when you fight your own character,
that's
right?
every video game whenever you have to fight your own character.
But it's so true in life.
Elden Ring,
There's
it's easy as shit.
There's a lot of things. There's so many things that are true in life, right?
In video games?
Not just in video games, but in board games and just things.
I'm supposed to hear you say something like that,
Well,
considering every time a video game turns on, you're like, that's not realistic.
Well, no, I don't mean
every
that.
move that comes on, that's not realistic.
I was more talking about like games like chess. There's so many things that are realistic to chess.
Check this out. It came from a video game, but I was listening to this dude did this monologue at the beginning of this game about the game of chess. And it was like a Taiwanese game or no, it was a Persian made game. And this dude gave this thing about chess, and he said, listen to me because you're trying to read.
No, I'm listening.
He was saying this thing. He was like, if you ever thought about a game of chess, right? Every single piece in the game, except for the king, is split into two sides. The piece is basically the king is the only one that doesn't count for this. Every other piece is split into two sides: the main players and then the pawns. The pawn's only goal is to get to the end square so that it can only hope to prove itself, right? That's the only time when it does something good. And even if it gets deleted, it stays out of the game, right? Like other pieces you can pull back in.
Can take something out though.
But its only time that it proves something big is when it gets to the end of the square. It's an analogy. Okay, but it was this whole analogy. And then I saw a comment in the thing and they were like, that sounds like commie propaganda to me. And I didn't understand what they meant. And then I realized, oh shit, they mean the king is separated from the two classes of society. There's one rich class, one poor class. The poor class works all its life to try to be something. And even when it is, it doesn't matter. But then this other class, they keep getting to redo things. And even if they get taken out of the game, they get brought back in. It was just like this unfairness of that type of structured society. But regardless of that, the speech was really good. And I always love when people use chess for analogies for things, because it can be used in so many different interesting ways, just the game of chess compared to the game of life.
Good for you, Yoka. Keep working on it, man. It's a son of a bitch. I went through some struggles trying to quit smoking cigarettes, man. And I'm not no better. I'm vaping, but it's so much better for me. And night and day difference from 2 days after quitting cigarettes and going to vaping. Like massive changes happen to me, from my smells, my tastes, everything, appetite. But no, smoking was something I struggled with on a massive level. I was the worst type of smoker. Like, I know some people think that they were bad smokers. You guys don't have a fucking clue what bad smoking is. I'm talking about I can't sleep more than an hour at night without waking up and going and smoking a cigarette. So that means I'd smoke half a pack of cigarettes in my sleep, and I'm not exaggerating. I'd smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day. It was beyond crazy. So, and there was one time when I was locked up and I couldn't smoke, and I started hallucinating from the withdrawals from cigarettes. It was pretty bad. All right, so Rob's Nerdy Knives with the 5 bones. What time is it? 8:48. Hi, thank you for great content. You encourage me in my channel. So I hit 1K last week. Good for you, man. And I am planning a giveaway. You guys are awesome. Shout out to Rob. Definitely go and subscribe to his channel and check it out. See if you guys like it. And then, hey, join his giveaway. Thank you for the support, man. And I try telling anybody who has an upcoming channel or anything, they can always reach out to me. I'll do whatever I can to help. You sound like you're from the Chicago area. I am from the Chicago area.
Oh, no, that's cheating. I got the Chicago shirt on.
Richard, thank you for the 5 bones, man. I appreciate it. Warriors Creed. Wait, Daniel Cad, or with the 2 bones. Warriors Creed poem I sent you, so hits the topic. I'm not sure if I know what the Warrior Creed's poem is. I might have heard it before though. I'm not sure. Yoko, change how you. Oh, that's for Yoko with the cigarettes.
Isn't Yoko the same name as the person that killed John Lennon? Or
I remember
don't people
Yoko
think
Zumo.
Yoko Ono killed John Lennon or whatever? It's like a conspiracy. Yoko.
Everybody's talking about their smoking and vaping addictions.
I'm also glad that my dad taught me how to play chess, and it is a timeless game. I really liked chess when I was little. You know, it's funny because like I was like 6 years old and I could comprehend, you know, all the pieces and stuff. And I see kids these days and it's like they can't even learn the pieces, let alone comprehend the game at all. And I feel like I don't know what it is. And I know this sounds like an old person, like back in my day, but I swear there's something like dumbing kids down, and it's got to be technology related. I feel like it stifles imagination if your imagination's being fed through games and stuff all the time at a young age. Like your brain is still developing and it's not ready for all that stimulation and those dopamine releases you get from all that stuff. Because I'm telling you right now, when I was like, both me and my brother, 4, 5, 6, could play chess with my dad. Obviously, we were getting slapped by him because my dad's good. But still, the point is, I don't feel like most 4, 5, and 6-year-olds can play chess these days.
Bro, I was wanting a cig so bad in jail. I hallucinated a pack of cigs on the ground. I did the same thing. I not only did that, but I also hallucinated one in my hand and was smoking it in my sleep and woke up with like a piece of tissue in my hand and was like fucking smoking it. But I did a bunch of different things. So like I was fucked up. Daniel Cat with the 2 bones. You read it in the Instagram message sent you. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for, you don't have to keep doing donations, man. You can just say it. I appreciate it though, man. Thank you so much.
Oh no.
You all right?
Yeah, we're good. I just want the ice in here. I'm so thirsty today.
It's good though, man. If you get like, so a lot of people don't realize like if they drank more water, like how much it would do for you. Like even for your face, right? Your face, like a lot of people like carry water in their face. Well, if you drink a gallon of water a day, your face won't carry as much water. So you'll actually thin out, your bone structure will look better, and your skin will look more supple. Like all the, like there's so many great qualities to drinking a gallon of water a day if you can drink it. And if you can't, get as close as possible.
Are you trying to say that you have a good bone structure and supple skin?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm saying I try.
You drink a lot of water.
I try. I don't know. I do my best. I do my best.
You must have a good bone structure because people call you the Crimson Chin.
Yeah. Still got that Elementum I won from y'all like 2 years back. Damn thing's still alive and kicking.
It's crazy that the Elementum is 2 years old.
You know, I'd love to hear back from everybody who's won something. Like, you know, I don't care if they sold it, broke it, gave it away, but I would
we
just
should
love
just
to
make a blog page for that, and people can post on it and be like, where did Neeves Knives giveaway knives end up?
Well, no, I just mean like, can you imagine if everybody came into a chat that we've given something to? It'd probably be like 1,000 people.
Probably.
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
We've given away a lot of shit. So I just saying like that'd be cool to hear from everybody. Just like meaning like in a live or something, like, oh, you gave me this. Kara playing the piano, chess, etc. sounds like a snotty pinky out Barbie.
I do
pinky
drink
out
with my
Barbie.
fucking pinky out, okay?
Taught my nephew just how to move the pieces and some basics, and he was taking a chessboard in the shower that evening.
Yeah, if you get them into it, they'll catch on. It's just
thank you, Daniel.
The general amount of kids. I feel like it depends how you raise your kids though too. You know, if you raise them by using a TV to raise them, then they're probably not going to give a shit about chess.
Josh is right. Like kids today.
That's like, and that's good that they know how to do that because the world they're growing up in,
they're gonna
need it. But I don't think that it's
not the end all be all.
It shouldn't be lost on them and to learn the things like chess and stuff because that also creates smart minds, but in a different way.
I would say it's good for them, but it's also good for them to get outside and get their fucking feet in the grass.
I feel like that stuff can be learned. Like, okay, I grew up in the exact era where that stuff did not exist when I was young, and then it did exist around the time of like middle school, high school for me, and I could learn that shit no problem at that age. So that means that kids being raised right now also don't really need to learn it till that age, you know?
Steve Kilby, aka Edward the Bluetooth with the 10 bones.
That is a name.
Hey guys, I have a newest channel and only have like 46 subs. I am not going to give up. And you wait, I'm not going to give up. And you guys along with a few others have given me the inspiration to make content. Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, when you first start, man, that's the biggest struggle. The biggest struggle is getting to 1,000, right? Even to 10,000. Like it's a huge struggle. It takes a long time, but it takes you have to be consistent, persistent, and you have to understand the algorithm. Now, not under like you can be consistent and persistent and not get anywhere if you don't understand the algorithm. So you have to have an understanding of the things. But if you do your due diligence and reach out to people that know, reach out to people that understand, talk to people, get tips, copy some shit to some extent, like because there's things that just work, right? So do those. And in your own way, obviously put your spin on it, whatever. But the point is that is everybody can succeed on there. It does take a lot of effort though. And thank you for the 10 bones and congratulations on the 46 subs. Uh, I don't know what type of channel you have. If you have a knife channel, maybe some people from the chat might want to go and subscribe. I haven't, I don't remember if I checked out your channel. I have people like every day send me their channel to check out. So I can't remember if I checked yours out. So forgive me if I have and I can't think of it. But if I haven't, send it to me. I'll let you know what I think. I still have the pintail from a few months ago. Thanks. There you go.
And
Savita pintail, badass knife.
His AD10, but he said I'll never part with it.
There we go. There's another one.
Gave you for the top commenter thing?
Yeah.
We
Giveaways.
gotta see if you're still the top commenter. We should do another one of those.
He is.
Well, you never know.
He deserves another gift. Yes.
The other psycho came in and donated 5 memberships, James K. So thank you,
James K. did?
Another person that needs to be blocked.
James, thank you, man. Thank you again. Kenny Van Cleve says, I'm new to this.
Dano, your name's green now. Sorry, but he's been freaking out the whole time because his name's been the only one that's showing up gray for some reason.
Who?
Dano.
Oh.
So now you are in the club.
Kenny says, I'm new to the knife thing and I bought 9 knives yesterday. Shouldn't drink while watching knife videos. Facts. But hey, hopefully there's some good ones, and I hope you're happy because building up your collection that gives you the ability to start recycling. So when you get to about 20 knives, 25 knives, then you can start taking like say 3 knives, sell them for 1 knife or trade 3 for 1. You can start recycling, trading, and you don't have to spend as much money, but you do have to invest a little bit if you want to get into like collecting. If you're not into collecting, you're just doing it, to have a few knives as a cool little hobby. That's cool too. And you can do the same thing. Edward with the 2 bones. Knives.
I love that comment.
Knives. That's a good comment. All right, so getting to, because we do have a story time. I do have a story for you guys. So right now we are going to do fragrance of the day really, really quick.
Okay, really quick. James just gifted another 5.
Another 5.
Another 5.
Thank you.
James.
5 subs or $5?
Subs. Memberships.
Or membership.
This isn't Twitch.
Thank you for the 5 members. Damn, man. I appreciate it.
Now you're
Holy cow. Drinking beer makes you look like Brad Pitt.
Man, you're so far back in the comments.
I'm not. I'm all caught up.
I feel like I read that forever ago.
I'm all up.
Unless maybe they recommented it. They must have. I read that so long ago.
No, they probably, you get it before I do. It's weird.
Yeah, but I read it a while ago, I feel like.
Okay.
Like a good 3 minutes ago.
I tell them to redrop comments if I don't read them.
That's fair.
So, and listen, guys, don't ever hesitate to say a comment if I don't see it.
You're not going to be able to get through fragrance or story time because I feel Daniel's like, okay, here we go, James K.
What do you mean?
He's like, the battle's on. He's taunting him. And you're going to have to hit the bell every 3 seconds again. These guys need to get kicked.
So James Brand,
can you tell how many members are in chat? Can we?
I can just look at them and count. I don't have an actual number. Anyways, James Brand, I think James Brand does a pretty good job. I have not tried the Barnes. I don't think I've tried the Barnes. I've tried 1 James Brand knife, maybe 2 or 3, but I'm not sure if I tried the Barnes. Let me just look at it really quick. But anyways, the James Brand Barnes, James Brand period, I think they do a pretty good job. In many cases, they do use good OEMs. There's a few that I wish I could try, like it might be the one we're looking up right now, the new USA one. Okay, okay. So the Barnes is the one that Riat did, the Integral. So personally, I think it's overpriced, right? But that's what everybody thinks. But I will say, I think it looks amazing. I really, really want it. So it's a knife that I can say speaks to me, looks amazing, and I guarantee I would probably fucking love it. Is that worth the 600 and some dollars? That's up to you, right? It's because I have knives that cost the same amount that I adore the same way. Now, they're usually USA made. That's the thing. Not always. That's done by Riat, though. Now, see, here's the thing, though, is that Riat does some of the best knives on the planet. So is it that big of a deal that the price is that much? You know, that's on you to decide, right? Most people, it's going to say, yes, that is way too much money for a Riat, even if it's an Integral. $450, $500 should be the price. But, you know, I think the knife looks amazing. Now, the USA made one, I would absolutely love to try. And I guarantee if I tried that one, I would scream from the hilltops how great it is, aside from the price. But sometimes great things cost money. So, yes, Riat is
no.
better than 75% of American made knives. I'd say even 85. These, let's hit the milestone. Oh, fuck.
Somebody ban him quick.
Hurry up and ban Daniel. Somebody put him in timeout.
You need to rename him Daniel.
He's going to be contacting me tomorrow saying, hey, man, I just want you to know I was drinking last night. I get those members back, man. I fucking donated all these members last night. I was drinking, and my kid had my phone. That was the thing. My kid had my phone. It wasn't even me. The Stein Grabber SPK is in a prototype stage to be made by Spyderco. That sounds badass. I would love to see that. Yes.
You want to see?
What?
Do you really want to see?
No fucking shit. Dude, that is way too much money, man.
Somebody should have banned him.
Where were you guys on banning this guy?
What is our mod squad doing?
Holy shit, dude. Daniel just gifted 50 Neeves Knives memberships. That is so much money. Holy cow. Thank you so much, Daniel. I can't even thank you enough. That's amazing. Holy cow.
All right, so Daniel,
that's
you
crazy.
just won a knife. Okay, we'll talk on the side. We'll figure out what you want. We're gonna send you something. That's not a joke. I'm
we'll definitely send you something. Thank you, man.
That's nuts.
Yeah, we definitely will give you something. I seen somebody ask a comment about or says, I want a Riat EXO if I can get one for like $200. Well, you're not going to get one then because they don't go for that price. But if you really want one and you're willing to spend the $280 what it costs, they have a new version coming with a lock. And so it has a clip and a lock on it. So this one does not have a lock and it's just a gravity knife, but the new one has a lock and a clip. The thing is, it's a little bit smaller. So it'll be like about like this big instead of this big. It's not much smaller. Like, I think it's 7.8 inches instead of 8.7 inches. So,
yeah, he's right. That brought us to 500.
Holy shit.
500 members.
Holy shit, man. That's crazy.
Because he did 50.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he already did the other 5. Yeah. Wow.
No, there's been more than that. We're past 500.
I know. We're like 505 now.
James,
we're probably at 515. Holy cow, man.
Oh my goodness gracious.
That is crazy. Like I never even thought we'd ever have that many members, to be honest.
No.
That's a crazy one. Like, guys, like I can't see how much we're making right now on there. I can see how much we made from the 444, and it's a lot of money. So thank you guys. It's quite a bit of money. Thank you guys so much. Jared, what's your thoughts on companies charging over $50 for D2 blades with G10 handles running on ball bearings when the CV Elementum button lock with 14C with my Carter for 66? So I don't agree with it. So I think $45, about 40. Let me be clear. Depends on the knife. So I can grab a Tucson right now that's $100 with D2 that I say it's worth it all day, but it's because it has titanium scales that are done very well with micro milling, milled titanium pocket clip bag spacer, good quality fit and finish, ceramic cage bearings on a racetrack, detent ramps, and all the bells and whistles, right? So there's cases where I agree that yes, it's worth it. But as far as we're talking about just like D2 and G10, no, it's not worth it. It's like right now, the market for D2 is the $20 to $45 range, right? But over 45, $50, like $50 is probably the max if it's a really good knife and the design speaks to you. Because after that, they should be using 154 CM, 14C, Nitro V, even like VG10 and AUS 10 and steels like that. That's a good steel. Now, the thing is that D2 will outcut those steels theoretically, meaning like if it's properly heat treated, D2 will outcut 154 CM. It'll actually outcut S30V. That's the thing. Most people don't even know that D2 will outcut S30V, but that's only if it's properly heat treated. The problem is that most D2 isn't made to be heat treated in very large batches like production companies have to do. The way that production companies are able to sell knives at such cheap prices is because they're mass making them, right? They're making them in mass production. Well, D2 is a great steel to heat treat and is very easy to heat treat as long as you're only doing a couple blades. But if you're doing 1,000 knives at a time or 500 or however many they do, then that's when you have issues. And D2 is known for having serious issues where some will be good, some will be bad. You know, that's why we see the edge retention of D2 all over the board. That's why there's really no like just some cold cut, you know, edge retention for D2. D2's like crazy around. It just depends. You could have 3 of the same model and they'll all be different. So that's why people don't really like it as much, is because of it not being consistent. And then 2, the stainless is not that great. And then it's not a super tough steel. And the price versus reward, meaning like when you sharpen it, it has a little bit more difficulty level to sharpen because of the large carbides. But then the edge retention you should get rewarded with. In many cases, you don't, because it's not heat treated as well as it could be. However, if it's done properly, D2 is a great steel. It's fucking amazing. But that's if it's properly done.
2 things real quick.
Yes.
Greg made a good point. If you're somebody that's here that hasn't gotten a membership, I mean, it's random, but make sure you have allow gifts turned on in your account.
Oh yeah,
you have to have that turned on to even get one.
Yeah.
When that does
guys,
occur.
come on.
But it's still random though, regardless. You might just not have them because you
but check and make sure that. Make sure.
and then can you hit the
where
bell?
do you do that?
I don't know. I just know that it can be done.
Dukes of Hazzard with the 2 ounce. Migaron is hard to beat. Migaron has some really cool stuff coming too. Hey Jared, I'm still starting a knife channel soon and have a lot of fun things planned and will be a wild ride. Hope everyone will come and check it out and be a part of it. I'm sure they will. Send me a link when you start. I'll give you some feedback. Okay, so really quick, fragrance of the day. So we actually have 2 because it's the same brand.
Wait. I'm gonna go ahead and go. I only plan to stay for like a minute, and now it's like 9 o'clock.
I'm tired.
I love you too. All right. Real quick. Thank you again, Daniel. Thank you again, James. Thank you
guys,
everyone who's donated. We really appreciate that a lot. I feel like we probably should. Well, we were already planning on kind of beefing up what we do with the membership, and now that there's 500 of you, I think that's especially important. So stay tuned for some news on that for sure.
Yes.
And people keep asking me about when you're doing that Patreon giveaway where you're giving away just the money.
Yeah, I got to do it anytime, man.
Okay, I told him probably in the next week or so.
No, it'll be in the next couple of days because I'm so late on it. Sorry, guys.
Probably add in a couple extra.
Yeah, I'll just have to add something in there.
All right.
Or just do 2 back to back or something. So today's fragrance of the day is YSL. So we have 2 different ones. We have the Le Parfum and the EDT or it's EDP, I think. Yeah, the EDP. So the YSL EDP, they're both linked down in the description. So both of them are really, really good fragrances. So let me just say, one YSL is a fragrance that every fragrance nut has to have in their collection. And in many cases, a lot of them. Like I have probably 4 or 5 different YSLs. My favorite is the Le Parfum. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the YSL EDP is really, really good as well. Now, We're going to show the note breakdown really quick. It's super good, super fresh, has a little bit of green to it, but right here we go. So if you look here, you see it's got aromatic, woody, fresh, spicy, amber, warm, spicy, fruity, fresh, herbal, citrus, and green. So that is a very good explanation of it. The only thing I don't smell in it is warm, spicy. I don't have any warm spicy in there at all. So what that means is that it's a very well mixed fragrance. So in many cases, certain notes will come out the most, and this is just very well rounded. When you smell it, it's almost like you can't grab a hold of what's in it, but you definitely get the woodiness. You definitely get the fruity fresh and the citrus and the green and the herbal. Very, very good, very powerful. It's a little expensive, kind of, but damn good. It's a very good quality fragrance. I'll put it this way. Like I said, a lot of people consider YSL one of the best fragrances on the planet, or that line. Now, let's talk about the Le Parfum, which is my I just sprayed it, man. Stuff smells so damn good. It's fresh. It's a blue fragrance, so it is a fresh shower jellies fragrance, but it has that little bit of green in the background that you smell. And then you smell a little bit of sweetness, just a tiny bit. You can't, it's hard like to capture it though. It's just so damn good though. Holy cow, it's good. Now I'm gonna grab this one really quick and show you guys. Let me just remove this so I can pull this up. So we are going to do Le Parfum, and right here. Okay. So now the new one, the other one, the Le Parfum, is this one. Share screen. So this one, it's kind of similar because remember, it's the same line, just a different. So, okay, so just really quick, just to explain it before we go into this. Anytime you look at fragrances and you see EDT, which is Eau de Toilette, or the EDP, which is Eau de Parfum, or the Le Parfum or Parfum, right? It's the same fragrance, but just with a different differences. So, but in many cases, two will have nothing in common. There's many cases where you'll have like an EDP and an EDT, and they smell nothing alike. Like they smell like two different fragrances. They'll have a little bit of similarities. You can tell the line is there, like the lineage, but it's very different. Now, the EDT is technically supposed to be like the more watered down. The EDP would be the next strongest, and a Parfum would be the strongest, meaning like the amount of oils in the fragrance. But the Le Parfum, in my opinion, as far as right now goes, from YSL, is my favorite YSL, and it has the aromatic, fresh, spicy, warm, spicy, fresh, herbal, amber, woody, lavender, fruity, and aldehydic. Now, you know what? Yeah, no, Dad, this is the right one. No, this is Y Le Parfum. I'm sorry, I think this is the wrong one. This is Y Le Parfum. Like I said, you got to be careful with those little letters and stuff. Anyways, let me try to find it again. YSL Le Parfum. Maybe it is the same. I'm not sure. I think it is actually the same. So yeah, maybe it is. Anyway, so yeah, that was the note breakdown, but really good. It is a blue fragrance, nice, and it has a little bit more of a sweetness to it, in my opinion, than the other one. And it has a hint of the spiciness. So you can capture the spice a little bit in this one, but in a good way. Like it's not a lot. Like it's such a tiny amount. I don't personally like tons of spice in my fragrances unless if it's done perfectly. Like it has to be done very well. I have some fragrances that have cinnamon and some spices in them that are really, really good, but for the most part, it has to be well balanced. This is very, very well balanced. It has some herbalness to it, some greenness to it, blue, meaning like shower jelly, fresh, fresh and clean, and then it has a little tiny bit of fruity, little tiny bit of spice, very well rounded, very good. And like I said, man, it's hard to beat. And I would say if you're looking for a fragrance and you want something to blind buy, meaning like you don't even have to try it, just get it, this is definitely one you can blind buy. It is a great blind buy fragrance. It's mass appealing. It is. And that's kind of the thing with YSL. It's a quality fragrance, the oils and how they make them, and the scent and the notes are just, they're amazing. Okay, so let's get to store. Oh, ding ding ding. I didn't see it. Sorry guys. Nope. Don't got nothing. Dukes of Hazzard, but I already read that one. Dukes of Hazzard, thank you for the 2 bones. Yeah, I didn't see any other super chats. Let me pull up the thing on the phone just in case if things are coming in that I can't see. Oh, shit. All right, let me see. I'm looking, guys. I'm looking. I don't see nothing, though. Okay, so I can't see it. Oh, there it goes. No, I'm sorry, guys. It won't let me scroll up anymore. So I can't see. We have 177 likes. Thank you guys for all the likes. I do appreciate it. I see we have 156 people in here. Man, we must have lost a bunch of people out of nowhere. So let's get to story time. Let's talk about story time. Jerry McCormick, alpha male, LOL. You're talking about me? Who OEMs these fragrances? How's the action on the spray? So this one's made in France, and the action is really good. Like they're pressurized sprayers, so they're always loaded. You don't have to pump them up or nothing. And yeah, the action's really good. And the OEM is these ones are made in France. So I'm not sure the exact OEM, but there's specific places that make all the fragrances, and YSL is made by a really good company, just like Paco Rabanne, and like there's like certain fragrances that are made by big fragrance people in the world. Like there's like certain people that make them or like put the recipes together for specific people. Like anytime you see a singer come out with a fragrance, he didn't make that fragrance. Somebody else made the fragrance of something he wanted and then sent it to him, and then he got to try it, and then he said whether or not he wanted to use it as his fragrance. Hey Jared, bang, I'm Lenny. Lenny, what's up, Lenny? How you doing? All right, so let's talk about some shit. So I wrote down here or you know what, let me just see really quick if there was anything I missed. So okay, so I do want to shout out Jersey Knife Guy really quick. So shout out to Jersey Knife Guy and Joey Bones with the 150. Thank you, man. I appreciate the 150. And what's your favorite Hawkbill knife? I don't know if I have a favorite right now. I have I don't know if I have a favorite Hawkbill. I like a lot of different Hawkbills. I'd have to really think about it and go through them to tell you. But I like a lot of different Hawkbills. Shout out to Jersey Knife Guy. Definitely go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Give him a follow. Really good dude in the community. He's been doing this for such a long time, and the guy just cannot get traction on his channel. And I did reach out to him and told him if he needs any help, you know, maybe I can help him with something that he doesn't realize or understand or know that can help him out in the algorithm. So hopefully he reaches out. But great dude in the community. He's very passionate about knives. Like you can tell. He's been doing this for such a long time, and you can hear it in his voice. He's very passionate. Go and subscribe to Jersey Knife Guy. Give him some love. Next thing. I talked about the MICROTECH knives that are in stock. Okay, so I guess we'll just go to story time. So story time, I was going to talk about a time in my life when I was homeless. So, which it's kind of crazy for me because I have so many connections and so much family and things like that that I really have no excuse. But what happened was I had a house. I had a really beautiful, beautiful house, and I had a pool, in-ground pool that I completely redid. Had an in-law house, like a nice property on a ravine, badass. And balling, like just living the lifestyle, like just really, really cool. And pool parties every weekend, and like I went from on top of the world to a lot of things bad happening in a row. And one of the things was because my dad technically owned the house. My dad got paralyzed, and he bought the house, but then he was going to take a loan out, and I was going to pay the loan off, right? Like so, then I pay the mortgage. Then it's my house, right? But what happened was before he died, he actually took another loan out that I didn't know about, and so when he died, the payments for the house was so crazy. Like at the time, like and I had a bunch of law things happen, like with being raided and things like that. So it stopped me from doing certain business things that I was doing previously to make a lot of money. And to be honest, I was probably making plenty of money, but I was also dealing with addiction and things like that. So I was spending a lot of the money, and I just didn't have the money to keep the house. So I lost the house. And then in the process of losing the house, I didn't have nowhere to go, but I did wind up getting a place. I got a trailer, but I couldn't move into the trailer yet. So I was like in between, like me being able to move into where I wanted to. I had a dog, I had, like it's just a bunch of shit. And I wound up having to sleep in a van for a couple weeks. So what I would do, and I completely like did the van life thing for like literally like 2-3 weeks. So I would park mostly in truck stops, like the TA truck stop, and I had it completely set up, had my dog, everything, and it actually worked out somewhat good. Don't get me wrong, it's shitty. Nobody wants to fucking live there. I'm not like recommending it in any way, shape, or form. It sucks. Fucking sucks. But it got me by, and just and it was such a struggle though, man. And I can still smell and taste like that lifestyle. Like, when I really think about it, you guys know like like memories, like when you really think of a memory, you can smell it. You can smell it, you can taste it, you can almost put yourself there. It's like that. I can still do that. And it sucked though, man. Sleeping in a truck stop parking lot, for a couple weeks, laying down in the bottom, on the floorboard of a van to, freezing cold, fucking trying to warm up, keeping the heat going and keeping bundled up and feeding their dog and all kinds of shit. And it was tight, and I wasn't alone either. So, but regardless, I wound up getting the trailer, so then I moved into the trailer and everything was fine. I lost a bunch of shit for other reasons, but it, it seemed like it went from, like, a decline to picking back up, then it went back down to another decline, and then after that, when I moved out of my trailer is when everything started hitting the fan. That's when I wound up starting to get locked up over and over, and, um, was really spiraling out of control. And like I said, there was so many things that happened, like, at once, like, with police, like, there was so many investigations going, and, like, one thing after another, like, they were all over me in every way, shape, or form. I had them pulling me over just to fuck with me, to, like, because they were trying to catch my old man up on some things. He's passed away now, so I can talk about this, but they were trying to catch him up on, like, some gun shit, and, since they were trying to catch him up and they didn't, and even though they did raid and everything else and they didn't get nothing, they were pissed. So they were trying to like bully me. So they'd like pull me over, tear my shit apart, and basically like threaten me, like, to say something, or they're gonna do this. And I'm always like, do it. Like because anytime, and listen, I've been in an interrogation room. I couldn't tell you how many times. Like, I literally, if I tried to think of it, probably a dozen or so times. Like, I can't honestly put a number on it, but out of a dozen times of being interrogated, like, if you're being interrogated, they usually don't have anything. And even if they have something, they need you to talk to them to give them more. So if they ever have you like just booked and cooked, they're not talking to you. They're just putting the cuffs on and bringing you in, reading you your rights, if that, but they're bringing you in. They're not going to ask you anything. They don't give a shit because they already have all the evidence they need. When they start talking to you, that's when shut your fucking mouth, because you have a chance now. Right? Now, sometimes they will mess with you, meaning like they will pretend like they're just busting you. They'll pretend, because if you're seasoned, I guess this is what I'm trying to say. If they know you're seasoned and you know the routine, well, then they'll try to play as if they have everything and they're busting you. They won't say nothing because they want you to start talking to try to like give up some information to like you know, snitch or whatever, like to get loose. Don't fall for that either. Don't fall for that. Just always the best thing, always keep your mouth shut. Always, always, always keep your mouth shut. And I mean as little as the little details. Like you don't realize, like, you know, the saying goes, you know, anything you say can be used against you in the court of law. So keeping your fucking mouth shut is the only way to protect you from, you know, messing yourself up, because you're going to say something stupid and you don't even think it's stupid. You'll think it's something innocent. You know, like I was, you know, over here on Saturday and I seen so-and-so do this. Well, now you are part of it, right? Like now you just put yourself in the mix of it. And now you're getting busted for the same thing, like stupid shit like that. I told this story before on, oh shit, my chair's gonna break, guys. I gotta get a new chair. I told this story before, but I'll tell it again really quick. There was one time I was in the interrogation room and the cops came and got me, and I knew that they were gonna come get me. I got a tip saying that the cops were gonna come get me. So I got a tip from an inside person. Then they came and got me, brought me down to the police station, and were bullying the fuck out of me, like just bullying the shit out of me. And they kept me in a room for like 4 hours, not really saying nothing. Right now, I knew that I was good because I was in interrogation. Because, like I said, if you know, if they're trying to talk to you, then they usually have nothing. But they were pretending like they did. So they came in with this list of shit saying that and it was actual things that I had sold at this place, like things that I had actually accumulated and sold at this place. None of it was hot, right? None of it was hot. And I knew the guy who owned the place. This place, I did a lot of work for him. He's actually got murdered right after leaving my house. But anyways, doesn't matter. That's a different story. But the guy owned this pawn shop, and they came in there and were trying to get information on me. Well, he gave them a sheet of some things that I turned in. He was smart. He wasn't stupid. So he knew what not to give them and what to give them. Anyway, so they were trying to ask me if I turned in the stuff. I said, yeah, you know, yeah. And then they got to this one thing, and I was like, I didn't turn, I don't know anything about that. So what they did was they took the real thing of things I did do and tried to put something in there that I didn't, on purpose, because that was the only thing they were trying to bust. So they were trying to get me to admit that I swear to God, even now, like I've never seen a thing in my life ever. So when they were saying that I turned it in and I said, I never seen this thing in my life, they tried to bring it in and they tried showing it to me. And my dad always told me, don't ever take anything that they try to hand you. And the reason why, and I'm going to tell you why here in a second. But so I'm sitting there. So I already knew the bit. Like they walked in with the thing and they pulled it out of the evidence bag, and I just folded my arms because I knew, like, I'm not touching this fucking thing. And they kept trying to get me to touch it, like pushing it to me, like, here, just look at it. Well, how do you know you haven't seen it? You're not looking at it. Just look at it. Here, look at it. And I'm like, I can see it from here. I've never seen that thing, and I damn sure ain't leaving my fingerprints on there. That's what they're trying to get me to do. They're trying to get me to put my fingerprints on there so then they can go and say that, oh, well, you know, he turned in these things or whatever, and this place had this thing and it was stolen or something. I don't know where they got the thing from. I don't even know, like, why they were trying to tie me to it, because it really had nothing to do with me. But they were trying to get me to put my fingerprints on there to try to bust me for something. Whether they were going to try to use that as leverage to blackmail me for something else, I don't know, because they had the big things that they wanted to get me for and the petty shit they were trying to use to get me for these big things. So the big things they couldn't get me for, like, and I'll let you guys, your as just imagination, wonder what those things are. But those things that they were trying to get me for, they couldn't get me for. So they were trying to use petty crime to bust me, to get me to like snitch, which I never would do. So, but in that moment, if I would have touched that thing, I'd have been fucked. Next thing, if I would have not looked at the list, and then also, oh yeah, this was the next part. I forgot to say this part. They told me that they had me on camera turning this very thing in, right? So, and a lot of people that are doing a lot of shit might not remember something. So they'll just be like, okay, you know, yeah, I did. I turned it in. But I was smart enough to know, show me. Like, show me the camera. I want to see it, because You can say you have a camera footage, and then I can admit to it, and you might not even have the camera footage. Like if I did do it, like if I did. So I knew better than to say, let me see the camera footage. So then they dropped it. They dropped the camera footage thing. They never brought up camera again because they knew my next order would just be like, let me see it. Let me see the camera footage. So since they couldn't get me on that, then the next part was let them touch it, make them touch it. And since I wouldn't touch it, then they didn't know what to do, so they had to let me go. So they didn't have nothing. But they tried to make it seem like they did. They even tried to like use like little tactics like I used to buy and sell and trade a lot of gold, like tons of gold. Like I couldn't tell you how much gold like I've had go through my hands. Like I used to make a lot of money off of gold. And at the time I had certain people that bought gold from me, and one of them was this guy who owned this pawn shop because I would get a good amount of money from him, and he was tied. He had lots of ties to different people and shit like that. So he was a huge connection. The same guy who got murdered leaving my house, or soon after leaving my house. He he would buy the stuff. So I had turned in like a large amount, and they were trying to like ask me like, who the hell has this much gold? And I was like, who doesn't? Like that was my answer. Who doesn't have this much gold? Like I thought everybody has like scrap gold because it really wasn't that much in the grand scheme of things. But to them, they were trying to make it seem like it was a lot when it really wasn't. Like, yes, it might be a large amount to certain people, but to a lot of people, it's like petty as fuck. So to me, I just, it's who doesn't? Like, who doesn't have spare gold laying around? Like, whether it's chains, earrings, necklaces, rings, whatever. Like, everybody has spare gold laying around. The thing was that one thing of gold was one piece. They couldn't prove that though, because all they could see was the amount. So they didn't know if it was a bunch of necklaces, if it was a one ring, or if it was a brick. But it was one little bar. But anyways, point is that they were trying to get me for that, even though they had nothing on it. Like it wasn't like there was no reason for them to try to get me for it, but they were trying to, even though it wasn't nothing bad. But they were just trying to get it so that they could try to pop me for other shit. All right, I'm gonna start getting to the chat a little bit. Guy got murdered right after leaving my house, but never mind about that. So, all right, I'll just say it. So what happened was this guy, he was somebody I did a bunch of work for. He was connected. He was gang affiliated. And he had a lot of connections. He had a lot of money, a lot of connections. He had a Maserati, all kinds of shit. Had a pawn shop. And me and him did a lot of deals together and stuff, and he was at my house. I forget what we were doing. He was doing something, like I had him come by to look at something, maybe to test something, because we did a lot of different testings. He had diamond testers and gold testers, and we did a lot of business together with shit. So and we even did like other things like that, let you guys imagination go. And he was at my house, and then he left to go meet up with somebody. And he told me, he's like, I'm going to meet up with somebody that has a bunch of iPhones they're trying to sell me. And he left, went there, met him in a parking lot, and dude jumped in and tried to rob him. Now, I heard the story about what really happened. And anyways, the guy wound up shooting him in the head and killing him, and taking the phones and the money or whatever. Technically, he didn't have the phone, so I guess just took the money. But and robbed him for whatever he had on him. But yeah, dude was known for I want to say fighting back, but it's kind of hard to fight back when somebody jumps in the back seat and has a gun in the back of your head, because that's the way it was. But the point is though, is that he was known for like talking shit and like fighting back and having guns on him. But I don't think he ever pulled a gun out on dude. I think dude just thought he was gonna, or maybe he was gonna, I don't know. And he wound up shooting him in the head right next to his cousin too. His cousin was in the same car with him. But yeah, that's what happened. And it was like 5 minutes after leaving my house. Like he had just left my house, went and did that deal, and then that happened. And I didn't know until like a couple hours later, I heard. And yeah, but mhm. Man, it sucks getting physically disabled by 24. I used to have a hot girl like yours. I don't anymore. Yeah, getting disabled, and it definitely is shitty. My dad was a paraplegic. He got hit. My dad was a pimp though, man. When he was, it was funny when he was 40 something. I don't even know how old he was, but when I was like, I don't know, 14 or something, he was dating a 19-year-old. I remember when she turned 21. So I think he started messing with her when she was 19, 20. And I remember her 21st birthday. And he's like 40, 50 years old. I forget how old he was at the time. But the point was he was a fucking pimp. And she wanted moving in. She was trying to be like a stepmom to me. I remember one time she was talking shit, and she was feisty. Shout out to her. Um, she was talking shit to me. I don't know if it was to me or to my dad, but she was talking shit. And my dad says, if you don't, he said something like, if you don't shut the fuck up, he's like, I'm going to have my boy drag you across this fucking apartment, you know, because we were in an apartment, and kick your fucking ass. And she goes, he can't kick my ass. I'll beat the fuck out of him, whatever. And then he goes, oh, yeah. It's a girl, so trust me, it's like there's nothing good about this at all. Like it's just funny, right? There's nothing rewarding about what I did. But he told me, he goes, Jared, kick her fucking ass. And he goes, he's like, don't hit her. He's like, obviously, because I wouldn't have hit her. I never would have. Like, that's just out of the, you can't even, say that. But he wanted me to just drag her around, basically, like to just like toss her around. Right. So I got up and she tried coming at me, like swinging and, like whatever. And I just grabbed her, spun her around, threw her on her back, and then I dragged her by her feet across the apartment to one side, across the apartment to the other side, and just back and forth. And I think he gave me $100 to do it too. Jared's got some 21-year-old stepmother stories. Yeah, yes, I do. James K. Dude, my heart is melting. Help me, help me. My dad used to say the funniest shit. Like, if my dad's sense of humor with that, trust me, like he had beyond a sense of humor about that. What time is it? Okay, so we're a little bit past the time. I legit have no gold. Well, you should invest in same with you, alpha male. You should be investing in gold and silver. I think it's good to have a little bit. You don't have to have a lot. I just, you really don't have to have like a ton, but I think it's good to have a little bit. And if you can, like, you don't have to have it in your house. There's companies where you can literally just buy it and they have it. And then you just constantly like put money out of your check every month. And then you just, over a long period of time, you build up a lot of gold, but you don't have to keep it at your house. There's all different types of ways to save gold and have gold and silver. But it's a good way to invest money in a way to where, I hate to say like fight inflation, because it's really not gonna, but it kind of does in a way. Like, obviously gold goes up and down, right? And just like the dollar, right? The dollar right now is so depleted, but gold is, in many cases will go up. So put it this way, and I'm not saying this is going to happen again. In 2003, gold was $300 an ounce. In 2010 or 2009 or something like that, it jumped up to like 1,800. So if you had spent like $10,000 on gold, you would have made like $40,000, $50,000 like literally like overnight. Like, it was crazy. And that's when I got into it. I got into it because the demand was so high. Do you guys remember this? Do you guys remember where like gold and silver places were popping up everywhere, just out of nowhere? Like, we'll buy gold, we'll buy gold. Well, the reason why was because gold fucking went up overnight. And now it's been up since then, and it's went down since then, and like kind of teetered, but it'll probably never go back down to that much again. Right. But the point is, though, is that there's times when it does that. And if you have it, then you can make out. Now, if it doesn't, it still at least retains its value, because it's usually, if it does go down, it usually doesn't go down to the point to where you lose out a ton, but it'll usually at least beat inflation to some extent. So there's little reasons why. Also, if shit hit the fan, right, and it became crazy out here in the streets, cash ain't gonna do nothing for you. It ain't gonna be worth nothing. But gold and silver will always have a value. So just like a lot of other things, you know, like obviously you guys can use your imagination, guns, knives, you know, gas, um, shit like that. They'll all hold value. And metals, precious metals will always hold value. Copper, aluminum, titanium, gold, silver, diamonds. Stocks are a buy now long-term investment. Um, she sounds pretty ghetto. Who? Fucking wish I knew you back in the day. I think we would have had a totally gotten along. Yeah, I bet we would have. Question for the chat. What knife has a similar thumb stud action like the bug out for way cheaper? Emmett Thornton wants to know. Two knives. One, the Kaiser Drop Bear, $115, $120. Really good knife, aluminum handles. It's even better quality than the bug out. Not as good a blade steel, but almost. But it has better handle materials, better action, better lockup, better everything. And then you can also go with the Hogue Deca if you want to go USA made. If you have to go USA made. And then you just get some original goat scales from my link down in the description. Everything I have linked down in the description, guys. I even got a new link just so you guys know with knives ship free. Let me just talk about them really quick. So if you guys don't know, we do have a new affiliate with knives ship free. If you guys don't know about knives ship free, I will show you guys some of their site. You can go on their site right here. You guys can see they have different pocket knives of all different kinds. So if you're ever looking for certain types of knives, and here we have the Crewwear Spyderco PM2. Awesome, awesome knife. I absolutely love this knife. But you can see they have, and they have a bunch of more knives than this. Kapara, this is actually what I'm carrying right now. Isn't that funny? Check this out. Bam, that's in the pocket right now. With the, I think this is Rip's Garage micarta. Micarta backspacer. I love the Kapara, man. Such a good knife. Ooh, such a good knife. Great blade shape. I love this shape right here because check this out. When you put your palm around it and you do the pinch grip, so like I can put my knuckle under here, I can do the pinch grip here. It's really good. And this part nestles right in your hand. So you can do detailing work. You can turn it around, get your hand right across the spine right there for cutting straps. You can hold it forward very comfortably for slicing. It's a very versatile knife. This knife does not get enough credit. I think it used to, but like everything, you know, when something's been out for a few years, everybody's heard of it. So everybody's, you know, but this is one that I think will always be amazing and one of Spyderco's best EDC knives. It's supposed to be a great EDC / food prep knife, but I say it's way more than that. I almost carried the Kapara today, but left it back home. It's a good one. I love the wire clip. Yeah, it works great. That Kapara handle allows you to hold in like 45. I know, that's what I mean. Yeah, 100%. It literally, you can choke up really close. You can go back. You can do the pinch grips with your knuckle underneath. You can go to the side. Like I said, reverse grip. Shit, you can even do the gas station knife fighting grip. You can do any grip with the Kapara. It's amazing. Doesn't it have a collar sleeve? What do you mean? You mean in the pivot? I think it has a bushing. Pretty sure it has a bushing. But yeah, it's awesome. I love it. What about the new raccoon with the axis lock? Yeah, that's good too. That's a great one too. If you're on a super tight budget, then yeah, there you go. 14C 28M blade steel, good geometry, beautiful sharpening tool and plunge grind, nice strong locking mechanism. Micarta scales, deep carry clip that is reversible and very comfortable in the hand, even if you're choked back or forward. You can do the reverse grip with this one too. This is a great knife. Yes, absolutely. I do think the drop bear is slightly better because it has a couple of different things. Now, don't get me wrong. There's things I love about this. And you know, there's things I love about the drop bear. I just think the drop bear, right here's the drop bear. You can adjust the tension on the crossbar lock so you can make it stronger or lighter. And I think they just tuned it so perfectly. The thumb studs are a little bit better, and it's aluminum scales. So if you don't like aluminum, then you're gonna like the raccoon a little bit better. But I love this knife. I do like 14C better though. I'll be honest, than 154 CM. Just personal preference. 2 bones from Dukes of Hazzard gas station knife fighting grip. Yes, sir. You never know. You never know. Any new custom knives? No, but I did see somebody that's I'm not getting one, but I did reach out to somebody I seen, and I had never seen their knives before. Man, I seen it and I was like, holy cow, this thing looks so dope. Maybe I'll just show you guys it really quick. I do got to get going though, but really quick, let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it, screw it. But I was like, holy cow, I want to check one of these out. So I reached out. He's not able to send one right now, which is fine. No problem. Hopefully I'll meet him up at Blade Show or something like that. But let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I think this is it. No, not that one. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Relax, guys. I'm looking. Hopefully I can find it. Sometimes they try to hide shit on me. Let me go through it again. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Ooh. Oh, these things are dope. All right, so let me show you guys, and then I gotta go, but we gotta check these out first. So, Edgy Blade Works, Scott Stills, and here is his knife. So, look at this blade shape. Some of you might think that's ugly. I think that that's awesome. And it looks so useful to me, in my opinion. Obviously, you're going to use the secondary tip as the primary tip, and the front portion is going to be more of a, a general use shape. For you could use the primary tip a little bit because it does drop down a little bit. I think it just looks wicked cool. Look at this one. This one has the recurve and then the belly. I'm usually not a huge fan of these blade shapes. For that one particularly, this one I love the most because it's a longer recurve with a straight edge. So having the straight edge, can you guys see this? Yeah, having the straight edge with the Tanto area is better than it being rounded like a Japanese style. It's an American style Tanto with a recurve. This knife is so useful. Man, I would love to test a knife like this. This looks badass. One, the secondary tip you can use like a Hawkbill, like just put it into things and pull. It'll definitely snag and hold materials like a recurve. Then you have this primary tip that you can probably easily use. So yeah, this thing looks dope. Oh shit. Okay, so let me try to go back. So yeah, you guys can see them all really quick. Go check this guy out. He's doing some pretty cool work. This is pretty sick. But yeah, I want to check the guy's shit out. Hopefully one of these days. Look at this thing. I don't even remember seeing this one. I wish it was the opposite way. But anyways, there you guys go. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Hopefully we didn't. Let me just make sure. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. I love you guys. Thank you guys for all the support. Man, Daniel, you hooked it up a little too much tonight, and I can't thank you enough. Daniel Cad, thank you for all the memberships. He gifted over 50 memberships tonight, like 60 memberships or something. And then, James K, he's been hooking it up too. Everybody's been so kind to us. I can't thank you guys enough. To all the patrons, yes, we are late on the giveaway. We will be doing it very soon. It's really cool because you guys are just going to pick out whatever you want from Mojave Outdoors. So, and regardless the price, just whatever you want from Mojave Outdoors. If it winds up being something budget, you can just pick out 2 things or something. We'll figure it all out. I love you guys. Thank you guys for all the support. No Bang Gang Live tomorrow. It's next week. So, to all the new members, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we have a Bang Gang Live. I love you guys. Thank you guys for all the support. Peace.